Debate, Uncut, and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a Ko-Fi, Patreon, crypto, and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Mr. Amish, Sensual Goat, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Twad Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Flat Earth Travolta, JMels24, Unimento, M, Iron26, Endless, Golden McKinnon, Retro Bill, Level Plain Poem, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B. Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Mac 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord, and the politics Discord server will be in the most popular, as I'm reliably informed, section of that particular server. So hopefully someone will put a link in this recording after the fact, so you can join the exceptionally well-run politics Discord server where we'll be today. So I'll hand over to them and you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
Yeah, please read it, Crit.
You can. And preferably to yourself.
I
put
muted
yourself
him.
on.
He's probably not good for audio.
Yeah. I will say, put yourself on mute and just read it.
Evening, Nathan.
Good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you may be.
All rise.
Morning.
All rise.
Good morning,
What a
sir.
judge.
No, the
And
king of the
mind
court. The king of
Do
the
you
court.
mind
Yeah,
if I read
attention on
this
deck.
article about Chinese surveying laws real quick? It is illegal to conduct private surveying and mapping activities in China without government authorization. According to the Surveying and Mapping Law of the People's Republic of China, private individuals or organizations, especially foreigners, are prohibited from engaging in surveying and mapping activities within the country unless they form a joint venture with a Chinese entity. The law has been in place since 2002 and includes severe penalties for violations ranging from blah blah blah. The Chinese government imposes these restrictions primarily for reasons of national security. The law mandates that all geographic data collected must comply with specific coordinate systems like the Chinese government one here, which intentionally introduces offsets to geographic coordinates to prevent exact location pinpointing by unauthorized users. This system causes discrepancies between actual locations and those shown on maps using different global positioning systems such as GPS. Furthermore, no map material generated within China is allowed to leave the country without proper authorization, as this is considered a matter of national security. This restriction affects various sectors, including companies testing technologies like autonomous driving, which must handle all data related to maps with China differently from other countries. Overall, the strict regulations and legal framework ensure that all mapping activities in China are closely monitored and controlled by the government to safeguard national security and interests. There are 10 references for you to pick through. No, 14. Sorry. Thank you.
Well, at least they're honest about it.
The obvious follow-on question is, why doesn't that happen anywhere else?
Why does it happen at all? Why the necessity?
Yeah.
Did you want to add something, Harp? Hot micing, if not.
The Chinese government, by law, makes it hard for Chinese residents and foreign nationals to debunk the globe in China.
Very interesting.
I think old mate dipped because he was mooted.
Who, Grim?
Yeah, he jumped out.
Well, I didn't trust him to keep his mouth shut while I was talking.
his only shtick there is to, basically join, call this place an echo chamber, and then laugh and giggle and do a bunch of act pretty weird until eventually someone kicks him and then says he proved his point. And come back in the next day and do it all over again.
So much pain. He has
Which
so
Grim?
much pain.
Grim the Concaver or Grim the Troller?
Yeah, the
Troller.
troller. Yeah.
Okay, as this is a small lull, I'm sure you all know the drill anyway, but first and foremost, please don't swear. And if you're not talking, Harp, looking at you, probably stepped away from his computer, leaving his mic wide open. Just mute if you're not talking. If you are in the middle of a conversation with someone, try to at least mute in between when you're not talking and they are. Just so it's clear.
Can I get a mic check?
Hello, Neil.
Hello.
And for Kimasabi.
Thanks, T.
I prefer to say twadwazzle. It's just fun to say twadwazzle.
I've been using today as like a challenge. No foul mouth Friday.
I'll subscribe to that.
Really focusing on trying to cut down the amount of swear words I use. Like make it into a habit.
The good part is you get reminded by Nathan Oakley every Friday.
Yeah, it's like an accountability partner.
Thank you, Nathan.
It's more like thank you, YouTube. But yeah, sure. I'll take it. You're welcome.
No, I mean, yeah, it's like a rule that, like a boundary that you have set, and we want you here. And you also said, "Hey, cut the swearing." Yes, easy request, easy to follow. And then now it's just working on it because unless people are purposely swearing, they're kind of being
Well, so would
naughty,
I
I
be.
suppose.
I'd be swearing in the same probably vein that everyone else here probably usually does, right? Occasionally, but back in the day when I started, it didn't matter. You could talk however you liked. YouTube was YouTube, and you be you sort of thing. Now it's more like it's under TV regulations in terms of how they run it. So that's just how
It is a
YouTube's
company.
evolved. Say again.
Oh yeah, for
It is
advertisers.
basically a company.
Say it one
Yeah,
more
'cause
time. I
they're-
missed it.
Saying it is a company. It would used to just be run by a couple of college boys.
Exactly. So yeah, in terms of what YouTube now represents, it's obviously mass distribution by a massive company, and they've got rules for the world. We're fine, we have to abide by that to a certain extent.
It's basically a corporate overlord.
Yeah, our corporate overlords at YouTube don't want swearing on their platform. Fair enough. I use their platform, so I have to kind of abide by that, which means that I have to be the bad guy and say, please don't swear. But then again, I don't think it's that big a deal.
Yeah,
I
it's something
mean-
I want to work on. It's like swearing, but there's also kind of like the unconscious swearing, where you just drop a swear word into your sentence without really noticing.
They are very strict with their rules. They have been for a long time. Ever since 2016, I would say, is when YouTube started to really crack down, because there used to what a lot of people would do is like commentary channels, which I would consider which I would consider you. You're kind of a commentary channel, basically. Not commentary on the level of you comment on other people, but you comment on your own topic, right?
Yeah.
So they took a real nail to the sledge to that.
Or like a debate
Because
channel.
what we're debate channel, which is kind of a commentary channel. But what would happen is 6-7 years ago, a lot of these commentary channels would send out like a lot of hate towards other channels, and some of these channels were like small kids, like 10, 12-year-old kids, or people that had like autism or some type of disability. Leafy and all that were like really bad for it, so they cracked down on them and made a lot of rules. to decrease that, but it's also just kind of reverberate onto everyone else. I understand why they did it, because I don't think that our YouTube should be a platform that is helping and contributing to cyberbullying online, but sometimes I feel like they do take it a little bit too seriously.
It's taken seriously when it's given attention by the masses. So in the case of Leafy, he was incredibly popular doing that. If it had just been
but a lot of the
obscure YouTuber
subscribers
doing
were, well, Leafy was, making money basically kind of off the, how could I say, the suffering of some people that might have not deserved it. Like, he sent a lot of hate towards this guy that had intellectual disability, autism, I believe, because he was simply trying to be a nice guy, and that he made sure someone didn't drop their groceries when not leaving the store. And the guy got cyberbullied like insanely
I'm not
bad.
defending Leafy, by the way.
Yeah, I'm just saying Leafy. I wouldn't defend Leafy. Leafy's definitely one of the worst contributors towards it, and he's one of the reasons why.
Yeah, but he as an individual is a reflection of the popularity he garnered as a result of the masses' enjoyment of that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, and you're right.
Yeah.
YouTube have to do something about that. It is a reflection on society, though.
Yeah, yes, I know. Some people find enjoyment in it. Some people find, how do I say, some type of pleasure in it. Some people find, let's say, some kind of, let's say, camaraderie in it. People don't really get maybe that in their real lives, so they can go online and, let's say, have a community that kind of supports what they're doing. So some people feel, it's kind of like reverberating your personal, let's say, your hardship onto others.
Yeah, projection.
Which kind of,
Yeah, it's called projection.
Yeah, projection. That's the word. Yeah, projection onto others. So that would turn, let's say, whatever was going on in real lives to other people. Like another person that was definitely a how I say, definitely had the masses going after him was a person named Misha. Misha was a kid who made a couple songs, pretty bad ones, but he was definitely one of the ones who took it very well. He was able to use that clout and build himself upon that.
Fair enough. I like it when people of that inclination come to Flat Earth with the idea that they're going to take that route, deal with idiots. And don't get me wrong, in a lot of instances, they might be delighted with the outcome when they're faced with some numpty Flat Earther. Not the case when they come up against us, which I find quite amusing when it happens. Their automatic assumption is this is going to be a walk in the park. These people are dumb, and they've come to flex their narcissistic endeavours on dumbos, like we're discussing with Leafy and others. So when they're suddenly faced with people who know a lot more about their own stupid belief than they do, they're often quite shocked.
But here, what's the best way to say this? People that have believed a certain viewpoint for so long definitely know the best ways to defend their viewpoints, even if it's totally bonkers. Like, some people have come to believe their own viewpoints, let's say with ethno-nationalism, and they have the right words to defend it and make it actually sound smart, but it's still bonkers.
That's how it is with heliocentrism. A lot of the stuff that people quote because it's part of the parcel of the Western world viewpoint doesn't make it sane or in any way make sense, but people will parrot it out as though it's perfectly reasonable. And because there's very few people on the outside looking in going, wow, that sounds crazy, people don't even realise the crazy nonsense that they parrot when it comes to the Western world religion of heliocentrism. They just parrot it out and, well, that's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, these globers don't know who they're screwing with.
No, we are. We're a surprise because we are just flat earthers like anybody else. It's not like any of us are really well known. So, today it could, people, this server's interesting. They huddle their way into the flat earth server and go, you guys are all idiots, right? Because that's what they're hoping to achieve, embarrass them with their weak and high school understanding of orbital motion or something. And suddenly they're having their ass handed to them by some random stranger who's telling them off at the end.
Yeah. Like, obviously, we definitely have different viewpoints when it comes to the shape of the Earth, but I feel like I can, let's say, have a better understanding of how the debate sometimes will go and sometimes where it goes towards and maybe some of the words to say. But I'm more of just a weekend debater. I just come in here for fun, not as a professional, not as an expert, but as someone who can defend their viewpoints.
What viewpoints that?
Viewpoints that are, my viewpoints, and that are, can sometimes enjoy the, let's say, the debate. Some type of challenge which tests my, my critical thinking skills, which I think is honestly helpful and will help me in my future life. So I come in here.
But in this room, what's your side of the fence?
I mean, I'll call myself a glober.
Why?
I'll call myself a glober. I feel like it's pretty clear in that there is a lot of science defending the viewpoint that the Earth is a globe and isn't flat.
There's a lot of what?
Hmm?
There's a lot of, and then I didn't quite hear what you said.
Science.
Science.
An expert. Expert. What's the best way to say it?
Consensus, expert
Believe.
consensus.
Maybe expert consensus
Believe.
and data that towards the Earth being a globe
Expert
and not being
belief.
flat.
Okay, well, let's focus on the former. What is science?
What is science? Is this relevant to the debate, or
Well,
because
given that you said that you leaned on you could immediately throw the question back to me and then start talking through my response, but I will respond to what you've just thrown back at me. Is it relevant? You claimed it, so this isn't going to go well if that which you could be quiet while I respond to you. You immediately threw back at me what I put to you based on what you said. So this isn't going to go well if you say, why am I a glober? I go, because of the science. And I go, what science? And you go, is this relevant? This isn't going to go well, is it? Yeah? Are you already defeated? Do you want to sit down and just declare defeat because you don't know how to debate?
No.
Were you just on your high horse pretending to be a great debater?
Wait, I'm not. I'm not just saying to be a great debater. I'm just a weekend debater who comes in here for fun. That's it. I didn't make a claim of a great debater. Did I not say that 5 minutes ago? Do you not remember?
Okay. I don't debate.
I am simply.
Well, okay, fine. I've listened. Okay, weekend debater.
Okay,
my
now,
bad.
Let me respond. I am simply putting the question that in the context of this discussion, I said, is it relevant? Because I think we both know the the terminology and what science is as let's say a field or as like
That's fascinating. Can you define it?
An idea of science. I think we both know, and I feel like it's just
I heard
kind
that
of going
first time. You said your answer the first time was that we could both probably define it. I absolutely, without question, 100% know what science is and can define it. Let's just get that absolutely clear. I didn't use it as a standard to claim Earth is flat. You did to claim it's a ball in your belief, which I mocked in a laughing tone when I was like, why? You said science. Now we're at the nitty-gritty where clearly, given it's been twice that you've told me perhaps we could both do this, no, you could do it and aren't. So I'm going to just make a bold statement. You don't know what science is. You've appealed to it and you don't know what it is.
Okay, well, science, I'll give you the answer then if you want the actual terminology.
I've asked you 3 times.
Science. Yeah, well, I'm answering now. 3rd time's the charm, I guess. Is a rigorous and systematic endeavor that builds and organizes knowledge in the form of testable explanations and predictions about the world.
Okay, what's a prediction in this context?
Prediction. A prediction is a thought, a belief that is
No, that's wrong.
grounded in
That's incorrect. So you don't know what it means. You've just read something off a definition, but you don't really know what it means. The prediction's got a specific title in science. You just don't know what it is, right?
Well, then,
you don't need to yammer through me.
I
haven't finished. I'm asking you and addressing that which you clearly don't know and have just read off something you've Google searched, having bought enough time to do so. That's clear. We know the drill. Now I'm asking you about that bit you've just read off Google. Yeah. Okay. Predictions. What's that officially called if you were doing science? What's its title? You can say, I don't know, and we could move on quickly, because I do.
Okay, I don't know. Enlighten me.
All right. It's called a hypothesis. Ever heard that term before?
A hypothesis.
Yeah, a.k.a. scientific, a.k.a. the guy leading you knows and you don't. You could shut up after I start telling you things that you don't know. Do you understand that? Shut up.
You have to be a dickhead about it. Like, I'm trying to.
You don't need to attack me personally, Mr. Ignorant. You can just shut up while I educate you about. Can you just immediately? Can this guy just immediately concede defeat? He's lost. He's told me he doesn't know. He didn't know past tense till I educated him, and I'm trying to educate him with him yammering to the top of me. And what, objecting about me being a dick? No, you're just... Do I need to put on a big smile while I educate the ignorant? Okay, let's do that. Oh, you okay there, son? Let me just enlighten you with the brightest of tone I can muster. Your ignorance about science, having read it off Wiki, can be expanded on by me, a flat earther, who absolutely without question knows that which you don't. Now, don't have to be a dick about it. I could just tell you if you shut your mouth. But obviously that's proving difficult because I'm educating you, the globe believer, as a flat earth understander, what science is and you have appealed to. Now, my tone's not going to keep up that pleasant demeanour for long because I'm educating the ignorant. As an enlightened flat earther in this topic, you, the weekend debater, wants me to not be a dick when I'm dealing with the ignorant weekend debater who doesn't know anything about science. No, mate, you could just shut up and listen. I could have told you what a scientific prediction, aka hypothesis, actually means, because it's got relevance in this subject about the study of physical and natural worlds. That's us, that's physics, that's science, that's what we're talking about. The nature of the world. Absolutely without question relevant. You didn't even know if it was, and questioned me about how relevant it might be. It's entirely pertinent to the subject. Physics is the study of the physical and natural world. Very much what's on the debate table here today. You, Mr. Weekend Ignorant Debater, haven't got the slightest clue about what you're babbling about when you express your belief based on science. You don't even know what the definition is. You have to look it up. We all clear? Shocking how the example of some ignorant guy who thinks he can come and flex his intellectual muscles here on a flat earth debate server suddenly finds he's being educated based on his ignorance by that flat earther telling him off at the end for his ignorance because he insulted me and called me a dick and then started yammering through me after I had to take a tone with him because of his insolence and petulance. No, mate, I'm not dick. I'm just greater educated in this subject than you. You could just tolerate that and admit your ignorance with a little bit of humility. Instead, you chose to call me a dick. I'm not a dick, I just know what science is, son.
Okay, well, here, let me ask you. My claim
No,
is
you don't get to ask me anything, son. Yeah, no, I already asked you what... Mate, you're not leading the conversation, you lost. You sit down in ignorance now, and I lead the conversation, not you. You understand that? You have to earn your little victory to lead the conversation next. Yeah? If you'd have known what science is, you could be leading this conversation. Instead, you're ignorant. I had to educate you, prolonging this discussion about how Earth is not proven to be a sphere by science. It's a category error. Now, you, who still absolutely without question will not know what science is and haven't been given an opportunity to educate you, you called me a dick. Meanwhile, you're still talking. You're still talking while I try and explain that your standard of evidence when you said you got science was a category error. You're still yammering to the top of me, so I've got to mute my Discord line so my audience can hear the conclusion. To say you've got science for the nature of the measurement of a plane, an aspect of the world, is not a cause and effect question. It's a category error. You, being ignorant of science, laid down a standard that's cause and effect related for the nature of a plane that we'll measure. No, it's a category error to declare science in this subject. You didn't understand that. That's why you appealed to science, because you don't know what it is. Now I have concluded, after winning and having you yammer through me, call me a dick, generally be belligerent, intolerant of being educated, you're fairly standard, I think I'm really smart globe believer, being absolutely torn a strip off by me, a flat earther who knows better. Okay, son? Now, I don't expect any response. I haven't asked you anything. Well, we'll tell you, given your ear as a weekend globe-believing muppet who's got the outright outrage to call me a dick. What bloody outrage. No, thank you. I don't need to deal with dicks and educate them in what science is, having learnt it myself. Yeah, you go away with your globe belief after the end of this discussion and me tearing a strip off as concluded. You don't launch into questions of me. First, demonstrate you've got a brain in your head and you know some of the subjects here. Then we might listen to a question from you. You with your yammering on about what's what in YouTube, only to be demonstrated as totally ignorant of the actual forum you're in when it comes to your claims and category errors with science for proof of a globe. What kind of numpty are you? Geometric shapes proven with cause and effect reasoning? No, son, you're just stupid. Yeah, now I've tore a strip off you. It's not inviting a question from you. Is that clear?
Hey, Pommy. Hey. Pommy.
You can call me Mr. Oakley. Like your teacher.
No, what the hell? What did this guy do? What did this guy do?
Call me a dick. when I was trying to educate him on what a scientific prediction, otherwise known as hypothesis, was, after he defined it, having looked it up, having been asked three times the same question, and declared that I might know, and together, universally, we would know what this means, while he types it into Google, and then calls me a dick because he can't define the words he's just read off the page. Like prediction. That doesn't mean I'm a dick.
It's usually
It doesn't mean I'm a dick, and it doesn't mean I'm a dick now while I have to raise my voice because you're talking over me. It doesn't make me a dick, it makes me intolerable of other dicks like you, who can't pay attention to what's just happened. Maybe listen and you'd understand my frustration, having just been called a dick for defining what scientific prediction is, or attempting to, as someone started insulting me. Of course I'm going to be annoyed.
Agreed with you. Would you still be angry at me?
What, for not paying attention and not knowing what's going on?
No, I actually agree with everything you just said. Like, I don't know what that guy said, but he sounds like he's off his head. He doesn't sound like he's reading the book that everyone else should be reading. He's reading some kind of other book.
No, of course not. He's come here to demonstrate how smart he is. Babbling on about YouTube.
He's not smart. That's not smart. That's not smart. But, hey, Pommy, mate, what's going on over there, man? You guys protesting? It's fucked down here in Australia.
Please don't swear.
And that.
Yeah, dude, you're in
See-
the wrong topic. So no swearing, and we're not here to talk about protests. We're here to discuss the nature of Earth. So, well, unmute you and give you one more chance, but keep it on topic and no swearing, please.
Yeah, we're live right now at Saint Steel. on
We're actually
YouTube,
not
so
live, but
there's-
we will be shortly.
Oh, okay. But just get in the habit of, no foul mouth Friday. And Jimbo, just if that can be your conclusion, okay? You don't want to talk to somebody who has these traits that you've accused Nathan of having. So
I
don't
didn't
cry.
accuse anyone of anything.
No, I thought Jimbo in text chat is worried about getting unmuted. And
Yeah, I know they're going red hot. These blokes were on fire. I was like, NASCAR. Far out.
Me, I'd just prefer to
I don't
detail
know.
where physics is useful. Like, what is relevant
I
when it
think
comes
we're
to
all-
the claim he made. But, I mean, I'll never get to that in a calm demeanour with that guy, because he's immediately triggered
Yeah,
because
no,
he's been
just-
shown to be stupid.
Just when in doubt, block him out. Just block it out. He's not on the same level. He's not on the same level.
Sure, but he wants to think he is.
Hey, Pommy, what's it? Yeah, no, just block him out. When in doubt, block him out. Hey, Pommy, what's going on over there anyway? Are you guys having big, like...
Okay,
He's
that's
just
it.
looking
You're
for
done.
a segue to do the exact same thing
Yeah.
again. Really? Wow.
Yeah, you're done,
Motivated.
Saint Steel. Having to tell you more than once to stay on topic is one too many times.
Do you mind if I just say a quick hello to my panel? It's just you'll get lots of audio through my line when I do, that's all. Hello, Brian. Hello, Neil. Hello, Refracted.
Hey, Nathan. Hey, everyone.
Hey, where we at?
Politics.
Morning.
Hey, Nathan.
Yes.
That's the perfect example of why we asked that question. It's sort of like a trap question, right? Is there any scientific evidence for the globe? And all I have to do is say it falls outside of the scientific method, but they still don't get it.
Well, I never got to that stage with him. He wouldn't tolerate it, right? Because I'm obviously taking a demeaning tone when I'm demeaning his ignorance. That's how it is. But he doesn't like it, so he wants to brace against it and call me a dick and focus on my tone and attitude towards him as an individual I've never met and couldn't give a crap about. No, I've got an audience. I'm recording this so I can publish it later to an audience so they can hear the useful nature of the claim made inappropriately by my opponent of science. Now, I could take him by the hand, ignorant that he is, and explain what a cause and effect reasoning prediction, otherwise known as a hypothesis, is useful for and applied thusly with an example. Didn't get there. No. I don't know what it is. I took 3 attempts too because I don't want to look stupid by saying I don't know. So I'll keep you all strung along for a few more sentences. Well, obviously both of us know what science is. Definition of science. typed into Google. It's like, you don't think we know what's going on? We've been doing it for 10 years. But this dick thinks he can just stroll in at the weekend and show everyone how smart he is. No, you're not smart. No, I'm exposing how unbelievably stupid you are and ignorant of the subject you claimed you would appeal to for your faith in a globe. People don't like that. No, I am smart. No, you're not. Shut up and listen to what our hypothesis is, you stupid idiot. You don't like my tone? Well, then don't be dumb. Don't come here thinking you're smart and telling everyone about how YouTube works with Leafy, demonstrating your level. Yeah? You're just a thicko. Another globe-believing thicko, pretending to be smart. Yeah, we've seen it all before. You're not special. So shut up if you want to learn what science actually is. Oh, you don't? You want to tell me I'm a dick? Well, then you're going to get my heckles up right quick and get shouted at. So when next man asks why you're annoyed, yeah, well, because me, in my learned position of knowing what science is, was about to endeavour to tell a total stranger who's used the word incorrectly what it actually means. I'm getting called a dick.
Yeah, that checks out. That's what they usually do.
It's so funny that
I could almost.
they claim science so fast, and then they don't even know what it is. Like, do they realize they don't know what it is when they say it? I don't know.
No, it's a power word. That word has power, and they know it.
Well, they don't know it. The guy saying it didn't know it. He's been duped with it. He's just regurgitating it like he did after his Google search. He doesn't understand any of the words he's parroting off the text black and white on his screen. And he didn't know what science was when he parroted it as a proof of globe. When I try and tell him it's a category error, he's not going to listen to it. He's certainly not going to listen to me expand on why it's a category error, is he? No, because he's made to feel dumb. So therefore, bad Nathan, dick. Okay, that's the level of your intellect, right? Absolutely zero humility then. You just want everyone around you in the server to go, oh, isn't this guy smart? Yeah, no, you were exposed within about 4 minutes of being in discussion with a flat earther. Isn't that shocking?
You
Well,
know,
that's what the television does. All right, John, go ahead.
the funny thing is what they believe is science still appeals to a flat plane.
Yes.
Even after they're in a category error, they still have to utilize the Earth as flat.
How so?
For example, the curve calculator that they would say was scientific evidence of curvature of the of level, requires level to be a horizontal flat plane. That means surface level or sea level must be a horizontal flat plane.
Oh, dear.
So we got a few globers in here tonight. Any of you guys want to speak up? Any evidence for the globe? We got AT in the house, Coco Bish. Who else we got in here? Hyper, I believe. I could be wrong there. We don't know what St. Steele's position is, but he can't keep it on track. And we got Trigonometry Man. Trigonometry Man, you got any trigonometry for us for the globe?
Alrighty then.
How
I'm
do you
so
do
afraid.
trigonometry on a globe?
Can't. You need a flat earth for it. Alberuni, measuring the height of the mountain.
So no trigonometry on a globe then.
You're going to need a horizontal reference to start that trigonometry.
Yeah, like Nathan just said, Alberoni, the height of a mountain.
I can almost guess that his argument would be that the star's height can't be calculated with trigonometry.
Yeah.
No, it's what's
no
the
way.
height of the star, John? That's what they. Because if you know the base length, then you must know the opposite.
See how the Feast of Nonsense all ties together now? If you can get people asserting a 3,000 mile high sun because they gobbled it up from the Feast of Nonsense and regurgitate it out as a standard piece of rhetoric as a flat earther, then you can hold them to task when it comes to this argument, can't you? If everyone's got, sorry Dave, just going to get pinned to it, Dave Weiss, right? He's got his sun, moon and zodiac clock app, and it's got the sun as a physical entity moving over the top of a flat plane. Okay, does it match with the time? Yeah, it does a pretty good job. Same as Gleason's would. But then you can ascribe an angle measurement to that sun because it's in a fixed physical location and can have angle measurements result in heights. So therefore, you can then, whoever it was that first postulated, let's say it's Eric DeBay, saying it's 3,000 miles high. Okay, now we've got everything they need to say, how'd you get the height in this process? Suddenly it's not about whether or not celestial navigation works and is employed by everyone always, and all of the globe mathematics are derived from these measurements of a flat plane. No, it's suddenly about whether or not a flat earther, not a navigator, can get the heights with what they say proves a flat earth, but fails because you can't get the heights. And they say it's 3,000 miles high to the sun. Can you get that measurement? No, you can't. It fails. Okay. Well, that's a nice little false dichotomy that ends in the globe believer at that time using a flat plane measurement to claim he's got a globe in a winning position, therefore it's a globe. That's how the Feast of Nonsense has been laid out at the table for us to regurgitate, so that all of the claims a flat earther would typically make on their road to flat earth belief are nicely stacked up in false dichotomy against the garbage claims that the globers will make when they're using flat plane measurements to make them. So it's their flat plane that they say proves a globe versus our flat plane that they say fails in this instance because we can't get the heights. Not that you need them to traverse the flat plane you're measuring. There you go. Piece of nonsense. That's what it's there for.
It started with the borders.
Well, I believe
3,000 mile. 3,000 mile claim started with the borders back in 2015. It was them that started doing that, placing triangles on the Gleason's maps and claiming that if you do the trig, then the sun is 3,000 miles high. It was them that started that. And flat earthers took the mantle, or took it up stupidly. I never did, but other flat earthers did. And started claiming the sun is 3,000 miles high, not realising, not knowing what they're talking about.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was Globers that did that. It started with the Globers. A lot of this stuff started with them back years ago.
Go on, Byron.
Byron, but yeah, cheers, mate. What's a flat Earth?
What's a flat Earth? A navigatably and measurably flat plane that we all dwell atop.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Well, we actually do have Trigonometry Man in the house that wants to ask Nathan a couple of questions. Trigonometry Man, you want to unmute your mic and have a chat with Nathan?
Yeah. So my question would be, if there is containment required for gas pressure, how is there a gradient? Like, why is the gas not equalizing if there's a container?
Well, that's a malformed question because you're saying, how do we have a gas pressure gradient if we've got gas pressure? Well, one's delta X.
Yeah.
I haven't quite finished responding. One's delta X. You can't have a gas pressure gradient without first having gas pressure, and you can't have gas pressure without having something to press on. So you need containment to have gas pressure to then have gas pressure gradients, to answer your question.
So is there a demonstration of having a gas pressure gradient in a container?
Yeah, all of them.
Such as?
All of them.
You can't create a pressure gradient without a container.
Can't start to achieve pressure to have it gradiate, as Brian's just said, unless you've first got a container to form pressure for it to then form pressure gradation. So all of them will require a container without exception.
Yeah, the pressure gradient is created by a dynamic system.
Brian, chill.
All right.
Go ahead, my friend.
I go quite.
Byron, go ahead.
Yeah, if you have a container, like what is the mechanism keeping that gradient like stable?
So why are you asking me this?
I don't know. It was just an interesting question.
Okay, fine. You don't know why you're asking. That's cool. No worries. Sometimes people do that. You understand that we need containment, right?
I think it creates more problem than it solves.
Sorry, without exception, to develop gas pressure, you must have containment. We just went through this like literally 30 seconds ago. Are you now saying that you don't understand that prerequisite for something to press on to be at pressure? Are you decrying that? Because you just said it causes more problems than it solves. No, it's a prerequisite. You must have something to press on to form pressure. And I'm asking if you understand that so I can then move forward in my discussion with you as I lead you.
I wanted to just know the mechanism of, what causes the gradient. I don't really...
Yeah, I asked you why it was relevant and explained that it was delta X. So we've already covered this. So you just need to rinse and repeat the same question that we've already covered without acknowledging that to form pressure, you've got to press on something that's containment. You won't concede that. You'll just re-ask your delta X question I've already addressed. So are you done? Is that it? Is that the best you got? You've done? Because you seem to be repeating yourself. I'm trying to move on, but I need your concession that you understand that to press on something that's being at pressure requires something to press upon. That's a container. You haven't conceded it. It's my fourth attempt.
Yep. So sure, you have a container. So
okay, I'm leading you, son. I'm leading you. It's just a closed question. I'm leading you. It doesn't mean waffle now. I make my conclusions after leading you and getting a close answer. Yes. Can someone mute him? Because pricks like this, now that I'm winning, decide that, no, you're not going to take this as a win. Now I've conceded, yes, we must have containment. I'm going to incessantly yammer through the fact that debunks outer space. Because apparently, no, the gas pressure is going to definitely get yammered straight to the top of about 5 people because there's globe believers in here. Me pointing out that the moment you understand implicitly that there's a prerequisite for a container, then space is fake. Because your heliocentric model with a sky vacuum around it that you ain't travelling to doesn't have any containment. It violates the second law of thermodynamics. Gas filling space, entropy, dispersion. Your gas would fill your sky vacuum, and you seem to think that rockets traverse the high pressure without containment into a 10 to the minus 17 torr sky vacuum. Now, that's all fantasy. Yeah, this is me winning, by the way, all the people who decided that they were going to chant through the top of me. No, it's me, the flat earther, pointing out how your religious belief in a sky vacuum with little men in it. It's a total fraud. And when you actually understand the principles of gas behaviour and containment, and after we've dealt with your appeal to delta X, all that's left to concede is that outer space is fake. You can't have gas pressure like we all breathe without containment. And in your fundamentalist zealot belief that the sky is a vacuum, we would all be dead based on natural law.
Hello, Nathan.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Very good Friday.
Good to know. Let's warm you all up with the housekeeping question on topic based on the pre-show. Any evidence you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
No, but I would like to hear what Brian was going to say in the pre-show when it comes to that question.
He could have just answered.
There's no point.
Thank you for the drum roll. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, wait, what?
Was that directed at me or Neil? This is not a good start.
Yeah, well, I tried to say it earlier, and you didn't want to know. So
No, I just wanted the other guy.
Now? That was when the guy was asking the question.
Yeah, well, I was in back and forth with the other guy. I just didn't want it to be 2 versus 1, so I shut you down, so it was fair on the other guy. That was all. Don't take it personally, please. Also, I did kind of want to undermine you as we were recording, and it was clear demonstration of my dominance over you, Brian, so there was that too.
Anyway, gas pressure gradient. I'll throw that out.
You want to know why we have a gas pressure gradient here?
Correct.
Okay, Yeah, you can have a gas pressure gradient in two different systems, a closed static system or a closed dynamic system. A closed static system would be like a bottle of gas, right? Your average bottle of gas. But if you heat one end or one side of that bottle of gas, you will have a gradient if you heat the end or heat the top. The reason is you have a temperature differential then. You have a temperature gradient. Temperature gradient creates pressure gradient. What we live in is a closed dynamic system where we have a moving heat source, which is the sun, creating heat wherever it goes, and then the heat dissipates when it leaves. That's a constantly changing situation. And because of the sun doing what it does, we have gas cycles. If the sun didn't do what it did, we wouldn't have gas cycles. We wouldn't have convection. We wouldn't have convection cells. We wouldn't have boundary layers, all these things, weather, all this stuff. So it's all created by the sun. And the fact that we live in a closed dynamic system. Closed means contained. You can't have a gas pressure gradient without gas pressure, and you can't have a gas pressure gradient gradient without a temperature source.
Furthermore,
and a temperature gradient.
You can't detail what it is to be gradiated through altitude without a flat plane to reference in the first instance. So the description of the gas pressure gradient is, with respect to a horizontal plane of reference, is described from sea level.
Well, we should be able to.
You don't need a flat plane to have a pressure gradient.
Exactly. You don't need a flat plane to have a pressure gradient, no. But I'm saying, in terms of how we describe it with respect to a horizontal plane of reference. That would be sea level. When we describe the altitudes of the gradient of the pressure for Earth, that doesn't mean you require a plane of reference to have a gas pressure gradient. That isn't necessarily what I'm suggesting. You could have it in a bottle garden, and you don't need a plane of reference for it to develop a gradiated system. I mean, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the way we do mathematically describe it, interpret it, measure it, is with respect to a horizontal plane of reference when we talk about Earth.
So if we claim temperature, if we claim temperature being the cause of the gradient, then we should be able to calculate the work being done on the gas, right? To keep it in that gradient.
The work, that's what you just said. That's very expansive. Tell us more about this. Calculate the work being done on the gas. Sounds like you're a physicist.
What?
Sounds like you're actually denying it, which is unreal. Where's the G in PV equals nRT?
What's the what?
Where's the G in PV equals nRT?
Well, it's not in there, but you can use barometric altitude. And
yeah,
that has
so
G in it.
in any gas law, is G involved in any gas law?
Well, don't lead him that way. What's the V stand for?
Why not?
Because it's deviating into G. No one's mentioned it.
You
brought up PV equals NLT. Let's just.
That's what he's trying to deny pressure. He's trying to deny temperature, creating a pressure differential.
Well, he can deny all
and you know what he's trying to insert.
Right, but it's in regards to.
You deal with it then.
Because this is one of those times where I'm going to keep it right on the topic of the housekeeping question, because the housekeeping question, why do we have gas pressure without a container, segued away with delta X gas pressure gradient, explained by you by dynamic systems, denied by, and then I've got to put my brakes on at some point and go, no, stop. Where I had him in the pre-show, you need containment. Outer space is fake. That's it. You want to know more? Okay. What is this? The meteorology channel? No! Flat Earth debate. Once I segue on to how we can prove Earth is being dealt with as a flat plane to reference the altitudes, we have proved Earth is measured flat for the altitudes, for the gradient, that needs containment. That's it. That's the end of this argument. Outer space, a very fundamental part of the heliocentric region when you think you're on a ball, is debunked. We want to educate these people now further, Brian. As grand as it is when we're on our own show to listen to you educate me in the ignorant position about this, I welcome it. But now, no, not a real politics server. You don't know this guy from Adam. Why are you throwing your pearls to swine like I just did?
Because there's listeners too. There's other people listening, Nathan.
There's people listening, that's why. It's obvious why he was denying the temperature. A temperature gradient will create a pressure gradient.
Well, then you should be able to
Yeah, I know
calculate the
exactly
work
where
being
he's going.
done. You should be able to
Sorry?
calculate the work being done on the gases if you think that the
I'm
temperature
sure you
is
can
the
because
one.
it's temperature.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead and calculate it.
I'm sure you can because it's temperature. You know what I mean? Temperature creates. Are you denying the temperature creates pressure? Are you denying
No,
kinetic
what I'm
energy?
trying to say is that you should be able to calculate the work being done on the gases in order to keep it in that
Yeah, like
gradient,
kinetic
right?
energy. Like how much kinetic energy the gas has. What would you use to do that? Would you use something like PV equals nRT? Would that be the kind of calculation you'd use?
You just have to do it over like many steps in altitude, right?
Would you? Based on the temperature?
Yeah.
And based on the temperature and the pressure, you couldn't just use PV equals nRT? The reason is...
Yeah, I mean, you can also find out the volume of like the total gas on Earth if you were to do that, right?
Volume requires a container. You can't determine volume without a container.
You keep saying that, but if we had a container, then the gas would
No,
just
I'm
fully
not saying that.
equalize.
That's just a fact.
That's the V.
I'm not
That's
saying
what I
that.
asked
That's
him
just a
about.
fact.
Hold on. That's exactly where I interjected last time. What's V? Volume. Well, what?
V is the volume of the system, so you should be able to calculate the amount of volume.
Well, all right. Well, we don't. Sorry. For a heliocentric world, what's V when we talk about gases? It would be. Let me enlighten you. It would be the volume of outer space. That's what it would be. That would be the area that we would describe. Why am I being talked through straight away? Yeah, that would be the volume. That would be the area of volume available to the gas. All of space is where the gas would disperse into. That's what gas does. It disperses into the volume. PV equals nRT, you say? What, the volume? Where's the volume? Oh, perhaps you had a misapprehension about some arbitrary Kármán line without containment that stops gas expanding into volumes, defiance of natural law. No, the volume for you with a globe belief is space. We'd all be dead. Because as soon as you apply these mathematics, the volume would be vast, wouldn't it? We'd have no gas anymore. The gas would all bugger off into space. The volume. You know? Volume, a space, the amount of space. It's curious that volume and space essentially equate to the exact same thing. In this instance, your space is outer space. And it would be an area for the gas to fill, and fill it must. It's a law of nature, dispersion. Second law of thermodynamics, entropy. Space is fake. Because we are at pressure. For us to have this discussion about gas pressure gradients, we're at pressure. So we must be contained. Can't have gas pressure without containment. It's not like it causes more problems than it solves, as you stated, idiotically. No, far from it. It's a prerequisite, as I stated. You didn't acknowledge it. And then when you finally did, we seem to have segued away from the glorious victory that debunked space, when you conceded that we must have containment. Now, you don't just take arbitrary volumes up to the Kármán line. No, outer space would be the volume, and we'd all be dead. So, let's see if we can have some... Let's see if, in conclusion, we can have some concessions from this globe believer in terms of the understanding without a complete yammering through the top of me inviting concession. Perhaps if he hears me introducing the idea that I might want a concession from him, it's best if he starts talking straight through the top of that. Because that will, overcome the fact that I'm going to ask you for concession? No, I need you to understand that space is fake. Because you can't just traverse the Kármán line that isn't a container into an area of volume that gas isn't filling. It violates several natural laws. The V in volume would be outer space. Ergo, outer space is fake, and I'd like you to acknowledge that fact.
Gas does fill the volume beyond the Kármán line.
So it'd all be dead. Heliocentric model debunked. Excellent. Welcome to Flat Earth. There is no globe in a vacuum.
The molecules just don't have enough kinetic energy to, all go out there, right?
So you don't know what elastic collisions are. You clearly don't understand gas behavior. Sorry, no. Not have enough kinetic energy. Yeah. Nothing reaches absolute zero, ever. It will always have enough energy to disperse in whatever direction it... I'm still talking. It will still have enough kinetic energy in all circumstances to disperse in whatever vector it is traveling until it collides with the walls of a container. That is what gas does. It never reaches absolute zero. It will never run out of kinetic energy. You are wrong and don't understand gas behavior.
I never said it would run out of...
His rebuttal, Nathan, sorry, 1 second. Your rebuttal is kinetic energy. When earlier you were denying kinetic energy because you were denying temperature. which is what gives
I was never denying
kinetic energy.
temperature. I
And
was
gas, yes, you
asking.
were. Yes, you were. You were
Oh.
questioning it. And kinetic energy, when a gas has kinetic energy, it has elastic collisions, which means it doesn't run out of energy.
Yeah, I wasn't denying temperature.
And your claim that the gases go off out into outer space is a violation of not just a violation of the second law, not just as your claim a total violation of the second law of thermodynamics and the third law of thermodynamics, but it's a violation of the first law of thermodynamics. Because what's recreating these gases are lost to this heliocentric space.
Yeah, so if gas fills all available space, then why doesn't the container just
I
equalize?
asked you some questions there.
Because I've already answered them, and you just keep on
the
monologue.
gases that are lost to the heliocentric space?
Nothing is recreating them, okay?
Well, you've just debunked heliocentrism. You've just shown how it does it, because the first law of thermodynamics clearly states that neither matter nor energy can be created nor destroyed by nature.
Yeah, so why does the pressure gradient
there's no
exist?
follow-up question. Shout out to Unitox Femu. That's it. Globe debunked. Can we compare size of the atmosphere with vacuum? No. Unitox Femu. Thank you for the super chat, but no. Oxymoronic sphere-shaped air does not exist. Gases take the shape of their containment. They don't arbitrarily take the shape of a sphere around a rock in a massive volume that gas isn't filling. That's a violation of the second law of thermodynamics. They use this word atmosphere, oxymoronic sphere-shaped air, like it does suddenly not fill space and take the shape of a sphere. But thank you for the super chat.
Also, you don't put...
Ryan is wrong, by the way.
I want to intro... Yeah, give me a second here to intro Succulent. Okay. Do you want to move on to the next caller, or you got some wrap-up you want to do?
Well, I'd like to say to this original person that open systems don't have a volume. Only a closed system can have a volume. And he's claiming an open system, so he doesn't have a volume. He's claiming that we're losing gases to heliocentric outer space all the time, which is the heliocentric claim. But that's a violation of the first law of thermodynamics. Because if that was happening, we'd be constantly losing air pressure. If that was happening at all, then all the gases would just go there and diffuse into the available lower pressure volume of basically no resistance. So he denied temperature, then he tried to use temperature when he claimed he denied temperature, then he tried to use temperature when he tried to claim kinetic energy with Nathan. So I don't know what's going on with this guy, but I'm sorry, buddy, but you need to learn a few things before you go.
Yeah. You're wrong about the Earth.
Quick shout out to Unitox Femu, says just to imagine. Okay, I mean, imagine atmosphere, sphere-shaped air, oxymoronic, not filling containment because it isn't in containment. I struggle to do that, Unitox Femu, but thank you very much for the super chat.
Nathan.
Well, we got Jimbo. Hang on, Jimbo. Nathan, we got Jimbo here. You did speak to him in the pre-show. Jimbo, just keep it calm, dude, and stay on topic. And then Brenda, we'll see what happens after that. Jimbo has been waiting, Brenda.
Okay. What is containment?
Did you have a claim you wanted to make, or did you want to challenge something I'd made as a claim?
I want to question one of your claims or challenge you on something. That's the best way to say it. What is containment?
What claim did I make?
No, what is containment?
Yeah, what claim did I make that you're challenging?
Containment of the gas. I'm just asking, what is containment? You said that there's no space. So what is containment?
So you're challenging the idea
barrier.
that we have containment for gas pressure. That's your challenge.
No, I'm not asking what is your.
So what are you
view on
challenging?
containment. No, I'm just. No, I'm not. I'm asking a question, not challenging. I'm just asking, what is containment?
Okay, why are you asking it? This isn't a dictionary. You can look it up like you looked up what science was.
Well, I mean, you said you studied this and you know this very well, and you're very educated. So, what is containment?
Something that's required for us to have gas pressure, ergo debunking outer space. We don't have an outer space. There's me answering him, and there's him immediately chanting through the terrifying response. the reason we describe the antecedent consequent relationship that is gas pressure and containment is that you have a claim that there isn't any, if you're a globe believer. So you want me to define that which is a prerequisite antecedent consequent to have gas pressure. No, I don't have a positive claim that requires me to define what containment is. What am I claiming that requires me to define it? This is us refuting your positive assertion that there is a sky vacuum. Me, I'm not making any claims in that regard. That's why I'm getting bullshit when you ask me to define things. Yeah?
Okay.
What am I claiming? Am I claiming a sky vacuum? No, I'm not. I'm refuting your global... I'm nearly finished. I realise that my responses that undermine your religious belief are triggering and you can't wait for your time to talk. You're not really listening to me. You're waiting to talk. Yeah, pin your ears back and listen. Yeah? I have no positive claim for me to facilitate or require me in any way to define what containment is. I don't have a positive claim about it. What I do is undermine your fundy religious belief fed to you by liars who claim to be floating around in Narnia, outer space, a volume that gas isn't filling in violation of natural law. That doesn't require me, a non-claimant, to define bloody anything. So I ask you, what's your claim? Oh, sky vacuum? Yeah, that's fundamentally debunked, because gas would have nothing to press on. What's that? What's a container? What's something you haven't got, mate? Gas would fill the fantasy sky vacuum you have in your religious belief. What's that? What's the sky? Ask nobody of me. Yeah, it doesn't matter what I define it as. I'm not making a positive claim about the sky. Okay?
Okay. What is Narnia?
Narnia is an imaginary place, like a sky vacuum in violation of natural law. A place where fantasists believe you might be able to traverse if you went through a wardrobe, or went through the Kármán line that isn't holding gas at pressure because it's not got anything to press on, but you wave goodbye in this fantasy Narnia-like land of sky vacuums to the gas pressure so you can look back on it. Or take pictures of paintings, whatever you want to claim. But anyway, you look back at the Earth with its yummy gas pressure not dispersing into the area you're now floating around in as a liar at NASA. The area you believe in. Yeah? That fantasy land. Like Narnia. No one's going through wardrobes to a snowy land with witches, and no one's going to a sky vacuum in violation of natural law. Hence my accidental comparison between two completely fictitious and fantastical worlds that you definitely aren't going to, but men claim exists. It doesn't. There is no sky vacuum. Space is fake. Again, you not being able to tolerate an actual conclusion, just waiting for your turn to talk. Space is fake. Your belief in it is ludicrous to me.
Okay, then what is above us?
I didn't make any claims about it. Was that not made abundantly clear to you?
No, I'm just refuting.
You are reaching out to me as just reaching out to me as a guru. Now you realise your religion's wrong. So no, I didn't. I'll say it again as he's asked me again. No, I didn't make any claims about it. I don't need to make any claims about it. I refute your garbage beliefs about it. That doesn't mean I'm going to become your guru as you interrupt me incessantly as I try and explain things to you. I'm not your guru. In fact, I don't like you very much. I'm not going to use a horrible word like you used against me, like dick, but I find you quite insufferable, and I don't want to educate you. I'll tell an audience that's paying me that space is fake and use natural law to prove it as you incessantly waffle through the conclusions.
Are you a grifter?
Did I hear that you'll never reach absolute zero?
Sorry, the guy said it would run out of kinetic energy. That was a rebuttal to it, I believe.
Well, then you have to prove absolute zero, right?
No, he has to prove the gas would run out of kinetic energy. It was in response to the claim that gas runs out of kinetic energy. Were you paying attention to the discussion as it went back and forth?
Yes, because absolute zero would refer to the container.
Container?
Yeah, you said that we have to have a container, correct?
No, it's an antecedent consequent relationship. It's not up for debate. Unless you can show us, maybe you can, perhaps, I say it's not up to, can you show us gas pressure? Gas pressing on stuff, right? Without a container.
Can you share the gradient within
I
that
was nearly
contained
there with
gas
my question.
pressure?
It's almost like he's going to be put into a position where he has to justify his non-belief in this antecedent consequent. Can you show us gas pressure without a container?
What kind of
Nearly there.
you
Second
got?
attempt to ask the question to the guy that thought he was having a conversation with me till he was getting asked something, and then he's decided to talk through me. Try a third time. Given that I've said it's absolutely unequivocally an antecedent consequent relationship, you seem to be challenging that. Can you show us gas pressure without a container? Could you show us that?
Yeah, can you show me a gradient within gas pressure that's contained?
We dealt with this earlier. It's a delta X situation. First you have gas pressure, then you have gas pressure gradients. Obviously, when I asked you if you were listening to the flow of the conversation and didn't get a response, I can now infer the response because that was discussed about 7 or 8 minutes ago by Brian explicitly. He went through it in detail. But obviously you weren't listening.
But I brought it
So
up 2
obviously
days ago.
now that I'm pointing out this guy's inability to comprehend and listen to a conversation that's only 7 minutes old, he's going to talk through the top of me also. Because that's perfectly reasonable for a guy who literally can't pay attention to the conversation that's taken place thus far in the last 10 minutes. Okie dokie, son. No worries. Like I say, I find people like this fairly intolerable. My declarations of that will also be interrupted, and maybe I'll get called a rude word as I declare how intolerable people who incessantly interrupt the answers to their questions that are largely irrelevant. You know, someone's claimed gas will run out of kinetic energy, and there's been a response in terms of absolute zero. The claims being ignored, the rebuttals being focused on. But there we go. Meanwhile, space is fake. Happy Friday, Nathan. And thanks for the politics server, your ace. I think he means thanks to the politics server, you are ace. Thank you, Himsake, for the super chat. Really appreciate the support.
I just want to point out that these arguments are getting more and more pathetic. They're asking about definitions of container now. That's what they have to resort to.
And the gas is closer to a heat source will lose energy.
Do I get to go now? Brian was incorrect. The Earth is an open system, and temperature does not cause the gradient on Earth.
Demonstrate.
I was not correct. I was not incorrect. I stated that you were claiming that other lad was claiming an open system, and temperature does cause gas pressure gradient. If you're claiming a gas, just so you know, Brenda, if you're claiming a gas pressure gradient without a container, then you're claiming gas pressure without a container. That'd be something you should be able to demonstrate, then, isn't it? Because
I'm
that's a
claiming
direct
that the
claim of
Earth.
gas pressure without a container. Gas pressure gradient without a container is a direct claim of gas pressure without a container.
The
Have you
Earth
got a
is an
demonstration of that?
open. The Earth
Have you
is an
got
open system.
also have you got
I
a
can't hear it,
demonstration
Brian.
of the gas
Brian,
pressure
you've
gradient?
got to stop
One
at some
second.
point.
No. This is hang on, Nathan. Also, I need you to. I want to know if you got a demonstration of a gas pressure gradient without temperature causing the gradient. They're the two things I need from you, Brendan.
So the Earth is thermodynamically open. It receives the same amount of energy from the sun during the day
If it was,
as it dissipates at night, right?
Thermodynamics can't exist outside of a container. You can't have a vacuum,
that's false.
temperature, or gas pressure without a container. If you're claiming a completely open system, there wouldn't be any thermodynamics, there wouldn't be us, there wouldn't be anything, Brendan. You're talking rubbish.
That's incorrect. That's incorrect. Thermodynamics is about systems.
No, that's incorrect. Yeah, no, you're incorrect, Brendan. Not me. You're incorrect. Thermodynamics, the laws of thermodynamics are based around a system that is enclosed.
No, that's false. It also deals with open systems.
So
the Earth is open.
So the second law of thermodynamics, 1 second then, Brendan. Okay, the second law of thermodynamics, right? High pressure will always go to low, right? And hot will always go to cold. Right? You agree?
What was that again?
Second law of thermodynamics states that high pressure will always go to low and hot will always go to cold. Do you agree?
That's not what the second law states, but that's an interpretation of the second law.
In the second law, that's clearly stated in the second law. Anyone can Google that. You just
It's
lied.
literally not what it says, but that's an interpretation.
Brendan's just after telling a total lie. Brendan's after just telling a total lie, stating that it doesn't state in the second law of thermodynamics that high pressure will always go to low pressure and heat will always go to cold. They're the two most well-known things from the second law of thermodynamics. It's literally stated. When you look up the second law of thermodynamics, that's the four things they are telling you.
Yes, that's correct. But the problem is that that's in defiance of their globe model, with it defying that law, so it has to be fundamentally denied.
In fact, entropy of
it's
gases,
also based around
Brian.
an enclosed
Okay,
system. Sorry,
so
AJ.
Brian,
Hang on, Brian.
the second law states that
Actually, Brian's 100% correct, and one of the most widely stated irreversible changes is entropy of gases.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've released several university lectures from Yale and Oxford, and I can't remember the other one, that all dictate to their students what entropy is in terms of entropic dispersion, and they use gas in most examples. Yeah, gas fills space. Brenda is a liar. She's here to lie.
Yep.
Why? Well, because the second law of thermodynamics doesn't comport with her religious belief in a sky vacuum. Therefore, gases in an open system won't disperse. Well, that's a defiance of the second law, and she will literally lie about what the second law is to Brian and a live audience because she's a glurf. You've got to lie to glurf. She's stamped that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong through the top of Brian, making his point nice and clear. Total lie, he wasn't wrong. But he's been interrupted by a glurf liar several times. He's been proven and demonstrated to be a liar now. Thank you, AJ.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
that's
think
incorrect. It states that
See,
entropy
now she's going to
increases
chant,
over time.
you're incorrect. No, Brenda, it was put to you by Brian that it's a very well-stated principle in the second law that gas fills space, and he further qualified it by describing how high pressure moves to low pressure, hot moves to cold. You denied that. That just makes you a glurf liar. In other words, I wouldn't at all blame Brian if he just, that's it, it's his victory. The moment you're just shown to be a disingenuous liar, why would the conversation continue? You're not worthy of talking to us anymore. You're not a worthy opponent. You never were, but this isn't my server. I wouldn't have you on mine. You suggested that my kids should be taken away from me, so I wouldn't have you on my server. I permanently banned you. Obviously, we're not there now. This is open to anybody. But, me viewing you as a disgusting human being based on your attitude towards me and my family isn't anything to do with your total lies and ignorance of the second law of thermodynamics when it comes to this audience. But there we go.
Why are we
Yeah, the
into
second law of
second law of
thermodynamics doesn't apply to
thermodynamics?
the globe model.
Yeah, they can't even get into the second law. They appeal to a gradients that starts at sea level. I don't know what they're even doing in this topic.
Exactly.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I segued it the first time we had this do-si-do go around to a flat plane of reference, the sea level that's used when you're describing the altitudes of these pressure gradients. You need a flat earth to describe them. That's a fact.
I just must point out that Brenda also lied when she said that temperature does not create the pressure gradient or a gas pressure gradient.
Intrinsically
That's a complete
linked.
lie.
It's obvious, Brian, to everybody with half a brain, but we have to debate these things.
Yeah, it's just what we're debating is either people who don't know what they're talking about or people who do know it but are just straight out lying. Brenda, the first guy didn't know what he was talking about. The guy was talking, he didn't understand it from what I could gather. But I know for definite Brenda's just lying.
Yeah, the 14.7 psi starts at sea level.
Yeah, so outer space is fake. I'm glad we covered it as a housekeeping question early on. Meanwhile, once you get to the Fundy's point where he understands gas pressure requires containment, suddenly we're being asked about why gas doesn't run out of, what was it he was claiming, kinetic energy. So suddenly we're the arbiters of these things. No, it's just space is fake. That's it. That's my job done. Like, you want to know all sorts of other things. Did you not have Google when you were looking at what science was? Oh yeah, you did, didn't you? Off you go. Space is fake. Don't forget it.
And why was that man arguing against temperature to only then use kinetic energy? That means either he didn't know what he was talking about, he didn't know what gave the gases what gives the gases kinetic energy, or he was just being dishonest because he was switching from talking to me to talking to you.
Again, a fundamental
Well, I made it
ignorance of
sound
the
smart by saying it works.
a fundamental ignorance of the intrinsic link these things have. And when he uses words, as you say, like kinetic energy, you demonstrate admirably to people who do understand the intrinsic link that you don't understand that, which is intrinsically linked by your own bloody words. When you deny it, it's pathetic. But you have to break these things down so slowly, whilst being called a dick. Obviously being yammered through by a liar like Brenda saying you're wrong, while you're trying to explain these things, Brian. That's how it goes for us as flat earthers, isn't it? That's the life we lead.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
for
even with
our
the
own,
other guy.
Hold on, Brian. Sorry. Go ahead,
I
AJ.
say for our own YouTube audience here in Discord on the politics server, I've just dropped a citation in the side chat. The most widely cited example of an irreversible change is the free expansion of gas into a vacuum.
Exactly, AJ. What we're dealing with is like with that other guy earlier on. He came in with what was it was a very expansive physics type question, but surely you had to calculate the work being done, this kind of stuff. And then
Yes.
I asked him, so where is G in PV equals nRT? And he said it isn't in there. Where is it in any gas law? And it wasn't in any gas law. Then he asked about how are you going to calculate? Well, we'd use PV equals nRT or one of the other gas laws that G is not involved in. Do you know what I mean? We're using, like, so how are we going to calculate, how are we going to determine the work being done through the very thing that doesn't involve the thing that you need to involve, which is G.
I'm going to read
no gas law. Go on.
I was going to say, I'm going to read a quote from Professor George Porter, who's a Nobel laureate. You'll be familiar with it as I read it out. Now let us look at some examples of spontaneous change and see how they are accounted for in terms of the second law of thermodynamics. We'll take the simplest first and look at changes where only the entropy changes. Now one, perhaps the simplest of all of these changes, is the expansion of gas into a vacuum. I have in one of these bulbs some bromine, and in the other I have a vacuum. And if I open the tap between these two, you will see spontaneously the bromine rush from one to the other. Now that is the simplest change we have, perhaps, because all that we can have is a change in entropy. In this case, the expansion into a vacuum, nothing else is involved. There's no change, there's no energy change, there's no temperature change. There's no change except entropy. Professor George Porter, Nobel laureate.
Isn't that the video you played?
Yeah, I frequently play him
Nathan, you're
actually
wrong.
saying, yeah, when he demonstrates it with the two bulbs. One's got a vacuum in it, the other's got a gas in it. He opens a tap between the two and the gas fills the space.
Video is on the Discord chat.
I have a question.
Who was that?
If everything that goes up must come down, where is down on a gas molecule?
Yeah, exactly. Gas is expanding in all directions. So everything doesn't come down. That's their assertion. They need you to believe is the case.
So
to assert we've got gravity.
Well, with gas, there is a flowing up and down with convection. That's caused by temperature and controlled by temperature. Well, caused by temperature.
But gas forever expands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but temperature depends on
Okay.
temperature. Temperature will the cooler convection is cooler a cooler and warmer fluids replacing each other.
Buoyancy
So
gradient.
as warm gas rises, cooler gas will flow down. That's why we have weather, high and low pressure systems.
That's why we also have a buoyancy gradient.
It doesn't seem to be listening to you, Brian. He seems to be waiting for his opportunity to chant the next thing. So I don't know if he's actually listening to
No, it's not an opportunity. If what goes up must come down.
You're just talking straight through the middle of me and trying to say stuff, but you're not.
Yeah, that's the problem. I assume from that little outburst through the top of you that he's got a fundamentalist globe belief, and what you're saying is troubling. What goes up must come down isn't true.
Horizontal plane of reference is irrelevant.
That's correct.
John's just said that to describe the up or the down, you'll need a horizontal plane of reference. Absolutely correct. But in this instance, to say what goes up must come down. No. Look at clouds. Yeah, they're not coming down, are they? They're part of a gas expansion and phase change. They'll come back down as rain, not gas. The gas has gone up. What's that you saying? What goes up must come down? Not unless it changes phase. If it doesn't, it's just going up. It's expanding from ground level upwards. What's that? Gravity? It doesn't exist in this context, does it? Oh, there's another fundy chanting through the conclusion.
No,
I assume.
that was AJ. Sorry,
Oh,
I was going
AJ.
to say, unfortunately, he's run away. He's run away from you. Yeah, the weekend globe debater dipped.
Fair enough.
Weekend warriors, huh?
Yeah, he was here to flex his intellectual superiority in a room full of dumbos as far as he was concerned. We even detailed them and gave examples with people like Leafy as a segue. And then when it actually came down to him defining why he got a globe belief that I smirked at, he said science, and then the moment I point out it's a category error, it's rumpusing and I'm getting insulted and called a dick. It was great. Perfectly timed, as we'd literally discussed that very Dunning-Kruger scenario prior to him having it. It was epic.
Yeah, I find with a lot of the Globers, they come in with not the ones who are seasoned, but the ones who aren't seasoned. They'll come in with these big, massive, expansive questions that are big, loaded with loaded words. But when it comes down to it, they can't back up any of the stuff that they want to talk about. That's been my experience in 9 years. In 9 years, they're paper thin. Once you press on it, your finger goes through.
You know what I find hard? Something as simple as you can't have gas pressure without containment, right? Instead of them realizing that, intellectually thinking about it, no, they'll look to find the answer how you can have gas pressure without containment. And there is none.
So there's a
But
question.
they'll believe whatever heliocentrism dictates.
This is an unusual circumstance that doesn't normally befall us. There's actually a question that one of my chat participants has put to you guys in politics. So I don't know who might answer this, but I'll ask it anyway. So Iron26, who's one of my patrons, says, do 24/7 suppliers support hotline for Globers who are suffering?
Yeah, they can come in here 24 hours a day and speak to us about their issues. We can counsel them.
See, Nathan, this is 1 decade. This is the problem. What I'm noticing at the moment is it seems to me like these Globers are going through a psychological dilemma. They're being presented with the truth. We're demonstrating how the Earth is measured flat and horizontal and level. We're explaining about gas pressures. Now, they can see this. They understand it. But the moment they admit it's true, they have to get rid of the globe belief. And that's a psychological dilemma for them that they're in. That's the way I'm looking at it.
One deck. I'm experiencing it personally with my oldest son, Jacob. Every single day. He's in serious, serious pain.
Oh, bless them all.
Well, I'm just going to throw it out there, yeah. If any Globers out there need a bit of counselling, we've got Crit here in the room. Crit is will be very gentle with you guys.
And can I just do a call to action to my own audience? Sorry to break up the flow. If you have been affected by the issues discussed here on Flat Earth Debate today, you can call 1-800-SAMARITANS if you are a Globe believer.
It's really good to break down this idea where it's good to break down the idea where they think flat Earth has harmed humanity in some manner, shape, or form. Because then they'll come up with some sort of shtick. They'll say, I would have a flying car if it wasn't for flat earthers. Or something along those lines. And once you get them to say something so over the top ridiculous, then you can actually get to some sort of conversation about that. Like, why do they think this is, like, why do they
Let me
put
get this straight.
flat earthers?
You think that once they can reach a point that they can claim victim status for something that a group that's been ascribed to the nature of the territory in terms of how it's navigated and expanded the known world makes them a victim, and therefore they can, put their hand out and cry? And is that really what you're suggesting?
No, because I didn't articulate it well. Because they'll come in here and say flat earthers are a fringe minority group who do not matter. They're so minuscule. They're completely irrelevant. And they're to blame for everything wrong in the world. Once you're able to get that contradiction, then they'll have to either play the victim card and be like, you're harmful, and they say, well, why are you here? Or it'll defuse the situation.
We had it yesterday from Dom Jolly and Fight the Flat Earth. They're a joke. I use them as entertainment. Simultaneously, though, they are actually the gateway drug to much more serious things, and they should be taken extremely seriously and dealt with, and I do take this very seriously.
Yeah, it's a very contradictory, broken worldview where they want entertainment and they're looking for it, they're seeking it, and their actions are harming the world because they're advocating for more content of the same type.
But no, it
So they
just
want to
hurts
blame.
them. That's more projection, right? They
Yeah.
think it's really funny. Flat earthers are stupid. We know we're on a globe. Enter flat earther, who challenges their belief and puts them in a position of cognitive dissonance. You're evil. You're making the world a bad place. No. You feel bad because suddenly your belief's been challenged and you blame me for it. Oh well. Don't care. Meanwhile, they might be right. We might be, if you consider us part of the group, a very small minority. Okay. Does it change the nature of the world? Does it make me wrong? Does it mean my arguments fail? No, none of those things. Your appeals to consensus are irrelevant. Doesn't make any difference to how I argue. I feel like a minority in flat Earth. So, you as the outsider, as a globe believer, looking at me as a combined group member of flat Earth as being small and insignificant. Yeah, imagine how I feel. I'm in the minority of minorities, my friend. Does it mean my arguments don't win? Does it mean the nature of the plane we measure is any different? Nah, not at all. What's that? How do pressure gradients work? Why am I a weatherman? Space is fake.
Just on the back of what Chris says there, it's not. It's in line with it, but it's not exactly the same. I have been accused in the past, more than one time, of holding back the progress of humanity. Me.
We expanded the
I
new
have
world.
1,400 subscribers.
We expand. Oh, as an individual. The flat Earth, that is to say, the fact Earth is flat, is the basis that expanded the known territories. Yeah, the new worlds were discovered with flat Earth navigation processes. So, what do you want to say? We've held back the world? No, we've expanded it with flat Earth measurements. What are you talking about?
That's correct.
You could even
You're
suggest.
absolutely right, Nathan.
Say again.
I said you're absolutely right. We did advance humanity.
We didn't. The fact that Earth has been measured out and mapped and expanded out in terms of what we discovered that was already in existence, that's not us as a group being able to be ascribed as benefiting humanity in terms of us because we know Earth's flat. The fact that is how we've just navigated the world and expanded the world is matter of fact. I can't take any credit for it. I can't relinquish any credit from Globers for it. It just is what it is. We have factually expanded out the world flat. That's how the known territories were navigated to, and that's how we found our way back from them. There is no ambiguity in terms of how it was done, and it is still done that way because Earth is flat. That's not like, well, look how well I've done to expand the Western world because I'm a flat earther. Get me, aren't I great? No.
If we're going to get blamed, hold on. If we're going to get blamed for something, then we're going to take credit for everything.
Take credit for telling people they've been deceived. Don't become their guru. Don't suddenly pretend you know what the sky is, and you'll be all right. If you open your eyes to somebody that they've been lied to and they suddenly turn on you, then unfortunately that's the end of that relationship because they suddenly think that you exposing the lies that they have fallen short of recognizing are your fault as the messenger. No. Or that you've got to somehow fill in the gaps that the lies have now left in their life. No. I'll tell you it's measured flat, though. I'll tell you that it does get measured flat to expand the territories. I can demonstrate how the known world was expanded out to the new worlds, formerly in outer space, as we travel towards the horizon, measuring a flat Earth as we did so. Those are all facts. Nobody can contest any of it.
Yeah, that other guy wanted a guru. He was asking what the sky is, then what's above us.
Yeah, his question was formulated as, how does the pressure gradients with respect to sea level form? Man, you're so far away from heliocentrism at that point.
Yeah, that's why I keep
Why
putting
are you asking me that?
Exactly. As much as Brian's very, very knowledgeable, and as I said at the time, if we were on our own show, I would let it go for 5 hours. I have done it recently, right? But in this scenario, it's like, no. Let's just cut to the chase here. Put the brakes on. Earth's being proven to be a flat plane for reference in terms of altitudes of these pressure gradients, and furthermore, they wouldn't be at pressure if the sky was a vacuum. Fundamentally, categorically undermining and destroying the globe paradigm in every single respect, and furthermore proving that Earth has been measured flat. That's it, that's the end. Game over. Earth's flat. If you didn't know already, now you do.
Yeah, but when someone comes with a smart-ass question like he did, I think we should unleash Brian on him.
You see,
like he had some sort of knowledge.
It's only a smart-ass question when it's from an opponent that hasn't conceded containment at that stage, when you're in debate about it. When it's Brian and I discussing it, well, brilliant. Or you, Neil. I just mean anybody that's not... might be adversarial in the discussion, like the other day when we were discussing the intricacies of heliocentric orbital motion for the moon. Again, that was the discussion that went on for 5 straight hours. Right out of my wheelhouse, right in the heliocentric paradigm, figuring out the geometry derived from flat planes into orbital motions, and how they'd function if we assume the moon was moving about a universal axis, but simultaneously rotating about its own axis in their claim once in a 28-day period. Well, does that mean it does rotate about its own axis if it's tidally locked to the globe? That discussion went on for 5 hours. Not even flat Earth proving. Occasionally, John gets the chance to pop his mic open and say, well, you'll need a flat plane of reference for all of these descriptions. We're in La La Land. But ultimately, those sorts of things can be discussed so we can advance our own heliocentric understanding. It's very, very worth it. But when it's some tosser that's just come along and started telling you you're wrong and telling you you're a dick and challenging every word you say with ignorant positions to challenge them with, you're like, oh, you're becoming more and more irritating as I talk to you. Why would I discuss what the sky could be by speculation? Because you're just going to use it against me. It's not because you actually want me to be your guru. You want me to be wrong in my speculation so you can use that as a tool against me. Again, we've done this for so many years. We know the MO of every single opponent. Nothing's new.
Yeah, but I don't think that was the same guy.
Hold
Sorry,
on, Neil.
go ahead.
Go ahead, whoever it was from Discord.
On the flat Earth, when you're standing still and you get ready to take a step forward, right? And you take a step forward, does your body go up and then back down to your foot?
That understands your question.
Are we just slithering across this flat Earth, or are we stepping?
Are we slithering or stepping across the flat Earth? Is that really your question?
So when you take a step, does your body motion go up and then back down?
A little bit. Swing my hips too. What's the point?
I don't know. What kind of shoes you got on today, Nathan?
Bouncy ones. What's your point?
Running barefoot.
Like, does this have a point attached to it?
Walking is a movement
Well,
forward.
you're taking flat Earth over a distance, right? But you're using technology to do it. You're not actually walking it, right? Because when you walk, you go up and then back down. So how, therefore, can it be completely flat?
No, you don't. You push a step forward when you walk.
Hold on, Brian.
Is this guy a bev?
Can you both just a second? Both of you stop.
I mean, y'all are going to
We're
skip
immediately into audio chaos. We haven't even got
different.
clarity on the question. He's talking straight through the top of the host. Brian, I just need to get clarity on what he's actually claiming and what he's suggesting we might have claimed for him to challenge, or if he's challenging something. So, just one more time, my friend. What exactly are you suggesting? Because I'm not clear.
We put him on mute. I think it's a Bev sock. Somebody coming in here.
I can unmute him, but Brian was correct. Yeah, he's trying to say you leave the Earth and come back down when you walk, and Brian says no, you're pushing yourself forward, propelling forwards. He would actually be describing jumping if we were going to leave the Earth and then come back down, but. What the point of this is on a flat Earth, I got no idea.
Exactly, that's all.
Well, this is the psychological dilemma.
Now we've got audio chaos from Neil. The guy who was talking. Fair enough. I don't care what camp he's from. I just want clarity on what he's asking.
I wasn't saying we were jumping. When did I say we were jumping? I said when you take a step forward, your body goes up and then down.
The body goes up and then down.
Or is everybody just hovering
now
upon
you're yammering
it?
through me. You left a pause. I started responding. Now you're talking again. What I got as you started talking through someone else was the body goes up and down. Right. What I need is a clear and concise.
Dude, you're a goofball. There's my talk through.
Again, is it just me, audience? An
No, he's in a
inability to
psychological
communicate.
dilemma.
I start appealing to my audience in the gap, and then this guy starts talking again. These people aren't reasonable. It's not like he can communicate in a reasonable fashion with another human being. He asks something, leaves a pause, someone else starts talking to respond, he starts talking. It's fairly standard globe-believing MO. But all I want, I'm trying to help him. I'm trying to get clarity from him. I'm trying to help him expand on his question so we can reply to it. He doesn't even want that. Yeah, there's not reasonable people in this discussion, it seems. I'll try again. Last attempt. I think it's the fourth. What exactly are you claiming?
He's gone. He dipped, yeah. He made his
ducked
comment
out.
over the top and he jumped. Yeah.
So he only wants the audio chaos. Okay.
Can I clarify his claim?
That we're bouncing up and down? Go ahead if you feel necessary.
Why is my body, when moving forward, going up with respect to a horizontal plane of reference and down with respect to a horizontal plane of reference if it is a horizontal plane of reference?
If you're moving forward, you're going forward on the horizontal plane of reference.
Please
that
help
was
me.
his question.
Okay.
That was his
That's
question.
no point though, does it? What's the relevance?
Horizontal plane to describe it, maybe? I don't know.
I don't even know how you could clarify him as a Bevite. I don't even know what he was talking about.
He's in a psychological dilemma, obviously.
Either way, it didn't make sense.
Like my son.
Didn't make sense to me, so whatever. Fine. Moving on.
He wasn't claiming you go out and then back in as you move forward. That wouldn't have made sense, would it?
Oh dear.
That was my question. But working like a man, so I got to keep working, guys. Can't be to every attention span that you need me to be.
But nobody required anything of you.
Okay, you're providing that flat Earth is at a relative position of not moving, standing still.
Okay, can I respond without you immediately chanting through me?
Adelite.
Shh, Neil. No, that's not a positive claim. Yeah? There's a positive assertion from globe believers that Earth is moving. That is the positive assertion. Saying something isn't moving isn't a positive assertion. It's not something I'd defend as a claim. There's no need to. It's not a claim.
Okay, I just used your claim. I said flat Earth represents that. Did I not?
No. Flat Earth is a description.
So now flat Earth is
there
moving?
There we go. There's me answering. Flat Earth is a
Yes, sir.
description of a... There's the second attempt. Flat Earth is a description of an aspect. In the words flat and Earth, there's no... I also positively assert that Earth is not moving. Number one, you wouldn't need to do that. It's a non-positive claim, second attempt. Furthermore, that's not contained within the words flat and Earth. So no, it's just seems like now, given your insistence, it's just a straw man you want to respond to. No, it's not a positive assertion.
It's not a straw man.
Yeah, it is if you keep attacking it when I'm making it abundantly clear that it's not a positive assertion. It's a non-positive claim.
A non-positive claim. So when you say that when we're standing still, the Earth is not rotating and we are at a stationary fixed position, correct?
Right, do you want to give me a quote where I said that firstly, but further to that, to say Earth is not rotating is a contrapositive to the assertion that we are rotating. The positive claim now I'm pointing out for the second time is a positive claim, let's put that slightly differently, an outrageous claim that needs substantiation. Yeah, not spinning. What, you mean not the positive claim that we are from your side? No, not spinning is incorporating a fundamentalist zealot belief that I don't hold, that you need to substantiate. not my non-positive claim in rebuttal to your affirmative assertion that we are spinning. That might have been a lot of words, but hopefully that conveys the point. I don't have a positive claim of anything in this regard. You do. You need to prove it's spinning.
You just gave a positive claim that I said that it was spinning.
Yeah, you asserted that I said it wasn't. Again, a reassertion of the obvious position you do hold to assert that I would declare that something isn't happening that you make the positive claim of when you use the word spinning. Not spinning. Yeah, that's you saying that.
Does flat Earth come to an agreement that you're on a stationary plane?
It's a fourth attempt. Non-positive. Sorry, not a unicorn. Prove it. I'll try and reiterate how this is. Sorry, are you suggesting for 1 second Earth's not a unicorn? Sorry, prove, with your burden absolutely being reasonable, that Earth is not a unicorn. Prove that standard. Non-unicorn. I mean, it's not like I'm saying it is a unicorn here or anything. It's not like a unicorn would be the outrageous positive claim. And non-unicorn, like you obviously positively assert, prove you're non-unicorn Earth. You see how that's unreasonable?
What's the circumference of your unicorn, sir?
Exactly. You're someone picking up on this absurdity. Thank you.
Keep running, Nathan. Keep running. Because your whole assertion is that flat Earth is a stationary plane.
The Earth ain't
It's
flat.
not
This
an
guy knows it.
assertion.
Right, dude.
It's
We've done this. We've
He's a
done this
grifter.
do-si-do.
He's a child abusing,
Dude,
child
I'm
abusing
only talking to
grifter.
one
Go beat your
guy, and
kid.
now I seem to be yammered through by someone shouting. No, dude. I've tried to explain to you. I think this will be the 5th time that it's not a positive assertion to say something isn't something. Yeah, like not being unicorn isn't a positive claim I can hold you to. Not reasonable. You saying not spinning will prove it's not spinning. No, that's not how this works. The burden of proof is on the person making the positive claim. The outrageous claim, your positive, outrageous claim that Earth is spinning, has no burden I have to justify or satisfy when you demand that I say it's stationary. That's non-positive. 6th time. Is this all you've got? Because we're just going around in the same do-si-do over and over again.
Kick him out for what he just said. Kick him out.
No, that was someone else, dude. That was Rob Noxious who came in and yelled all that out over the top. That wasn't the guy that you
So
were talking to, Rob
comes in and
Noxious.
says something stupid like that? He should never be allowed back in here for that statement.
Thank you, Neil. You've now latched onto whatever it was doing. I wasn't paying attention to. I don't care. Either way, mission accomplished by whoever it was.
Well, I want to go back to chasing and say, well, maybe he can prove his positive claim, which brings us back to some of your opening questions. Who's ever measured this rotation of the Earth to prove it exists?
You'll need a flat plane for that. Axis of rotation with respect to a horizontal plane. To describe axial rotation needs a flat plane.
Your flat plane would represent 0, correct?
My flat plane would represent 0. What would 0 do you mean?
Well, you have to have a definition of 0, right? Start.
Like sea level.
No, you said flat plane, not flat
I was just
ocean.
talking to one guy. I've clearly triggered 4. Like sea level.
You said flat plane, not flat ocean.
Try a 3rd time. You said I'd have to have a 0. I said, what for? What kind of 0? You said for the ground, for the flat Earth. And then now he's chanting through me. It seems he's already lost. Immediately defeat by my opponent. Summarising his loss, chanting through me. Obviously, you've lost, because I'm now summarising my win. What, like sea? That's like all the oceans and that, like covering the whole world and that. Yeah, sea. Yeah, level. What, having no part higher or lower than another and referencing everything in terms of elevation everywhere for all things ever on Earth? Yeah, I do have a 0 mean sea level. Yeah, it doesn't seem after the 4th attempt that I'm going to get that through concisely without someone deliberately and intentionally just trying to wind me up by chanting through me, because they're triggered. What, you thought you had a little win with you must have a 0, and then I referenced something that's got the entire world as a reference, as a horizontal plane, known as sea level. Maybe 5 attempts to yammer that through an attempted refutation, what, by chanting through the top of it? No, mate. I do! We use it quite frequently. You'll need it too when you make your globe claims. Yeah, a level plane with respect to a vertical datum with a 0 point on it. Yeah, that'd be sea level, mate. Maybe if I say it 7 times, you'll tolerate it and accept this 0 that you thought you had a little gotcha with. You didn't. Embarrassing, right? Maybe chanting through the top of my win will overcome that embarrassment. It weren't a gotcha, mate. Did you want to respond?
No, he's dipped again.
Oh,
He
it
might come
seems
back because
every
he did
time
come back
someone
last
suffers an
time.
embarrassing loss, they decide that they'll just run away rather than concede the devastating loss that they face at the hands of flat earthers here. They'd rather run like cowards.
Well, even in the Earth curve calculator, you reference your 0 as mean sea level. That is, you know, that's that what they call a tangent, and the imaginary line into space is actually labeled sea level. The imaginary line is the curved one drawn beneath sea level that they believe the horizon will appear on.
Yeah, that didn't revolve in a
dear.
conversation beyond somebody who thought in the back of their mind that they could have a nice little gotcha with a flat earther in a Discord server that they'd probably never been in before. Oh, you've got to have a whole 0 point for your whole flat earth, haven't you? Yeah, I have, sea level.
Hey, AJ, Rob Noxious could never be allowed in here again.
What's your bee in your bonnet for?
Yeah,
Rob Noxious is a troll.
He's been banned at the
I'll
moment.
tell you
and,
later
we'll
what he
have a
said, Nathan.
Yeah, I know exactly what he said. It's
Something
all
about
good.
child abuse.
Don't stress.
Said something about child abuse. I assume he was calling me a child beater, something like that.
I didn't want to say what he said, but since you did, yes.
Right, again, immediate concession of loss before even entering into the debate forum. Called an ad hominem attack.
Yeah, don't focus on what trolls say. The surface level in their Earth curve maths, the surface level is actually a tangent. They're calling surface a tangent. You're standing at the beach, looking out to the horizon. You know, especially on a calm day, you can see the water nice and calm. They're saying you're standing on a tangent. That's what they're trying to tell you. How stupid they are.
Yep. And well, when they try to refract it up to surface level, you can never mathematically reach horizontal from a curved line as long as it has R in it. If there is an R, it is not a straight line. By definition.
Exactly. What they actually do is when you're standing looking out at the horizon, they're claiming that what you're standing on is a tangent line, right? A straight tangent line that goes from your feet straight out. And they're over 6R, right, whatever degree they need to, depending on the distance to the horizon, will lift up their horizon to meet that tangent line that you're standing on, giving you the impression that you're standing on a flat plane with an horizon.
So let me get this straight, right,
Yeah.
Brian. Let me get this straight. They don't admit that the Earth is horizontal and stationary, but they admit that they're standing on a flat horizontal imaginary line.
Yeah, and that the horizon has been lifted up from below that line by an over 6R non-refraction, and to meet that line, giving you the impression that that line and the horizon are all one. But what John
Which is
just said,
mathematically impossible.
yeah, because there has to be a curve between you and it within their maths, so that they're flattening out their globe as well as expanding it via its radius while you're standing on a tangent.
Yeah, they keep on trying to blow that balloon up to make it flat, but it's just not ever going to be flat if it's curved.
I mean, if the horizontal plane of reference is standing on is imaginary, then it's possible it could be curved as well, maybe.
Not if it's a horizontal plane or a straight plane, because they see their whole mathematics is based around. Their mathematics is all based around where their horizon is. They're over 6R, whatever it is, where it'll be 7, 10, 50, 100, as I've showed, over 3,000 over 6R, for over 3,000 over 6R for one observation. They have to go off the distance to the horizon. That's what they have to do. So they determine via this height on a globe, my horizon is this far away. But the horizon is further than that, because it's always further than, there's no such thing, there's never been in existence an horizon that matched their geometric globe edge in distance from the observer. So what they have to do is all have a constant mathematical refraction added in to every observation. And it's depending on how far away the horizon is based on the other, as well as the use of the observer height, they then calculate how much over 6R they need to add to make their horizon on their globe be that distance away. But then they're also having you standing on a tangent, meeting this point, taking away all curvature, and even as John said, it's mathematically impossible, because there still has to be, the tangent then would have to become, John, you would concur, that tangent would have to become a chord line at that point with what they're claiming. But they're not.
So,
they're still keeping a tangent,
Brian,
but listing it. Go on, one deck.
So the refraction is, I'm just saying, so basically they're using refraction to turn the horizontal into an apparent location, not physical.
Well, no, they're not. The horizontal is a tangent. There's no claimed refraction involved at all. What they're doing is they're claiming a mathematical refraction that is not refraction, that's based off an R value that's never been measured, because you can't measure it because of the refraction, the non-refraction that's mathematical refraction that's based upon it. Do you know what I mean? It's a circle of nonsense. And then they're claiming that the tangent you're on just happens to meet the horizon at whatever distance the horizon happens to be in reality. That is the amount of over 6R they're going to add to make that horizon that distance away from you as the observer. And that tangent meets that horizon, giving you the impression you're on a massive flat plane.
The horizon is a circle, Brian.
Flat then, two-dimensional.
Yeah, which makes it mathematically impossible to be curving. The R value of that circle can't be curving.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that, Brenda?
What I mean by what? The horizon is the circle. It's the point at which the Earth curves away from itself and blocks your line of sight.
No, 360 degrees. Your eyesight will give you a 360-degree circle if you spin around. The horizon's not a circle.
You see it all the way around when you turn around 360. Therefore, it's a circle.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
your
a straight
eyes.
line.
That's your eyes. That's literally like the barrel distortion of your own eyes. The problem with you, Brenda, is that
itself.
It's not an artifact.
She just said
it's
the
not an
Earth
artifact.
curved away from itself. That's so nonsense.
And that's what I mean, that it obstructs itself.
So that's the physical location, that circle, is it, of the horizon all around you, Brenda?
It's a physical location on a geometric horizon. Yes, it's a physical location.
I think you mean tangible, Brenda.
I mean physical.
But physical, light
Black
is physical,
swan.
Brenda. Hang on, Neil. Light is physical, Brenda.
I refuted the black swan. I took it away from Nathan.
Come on, Neil, please.
Okay.
Just don't give her an
Brenda.
opportunity. She's after saying the Earth gets in its own way. It obstructs itself.
Yeah, that's what happens.
So that's like you obstructed. You want to walk in. You want to walk through a doorway, but you are obstructing yourself in front of yourself. That's basically what you're saying.
The reason you can't see the other side of a baseball is because the front side gets in the way.
What has that got to do with your claims concerning the horizon?
That's what a horizon is. The Earth gets in the way.
What's the horizon? The geometric edge of a globe.
Globes don't have edges. They're
So
curved.
the geometric edge of a globe. Is that what you're claiming? Because they don't have horizons.
It doesn't have
There's
an
no
edge.
horizon of the globe. Horizon is a rate of slope 0.
Right, I just got to interject. So up until 2020, the globe, and still to this day, if you look at the actual rhetoric of a globe, is that there's a physical geometric sphere edge at 1.2 times the square root of the observer scientific feet that blocks your feet and inches value of distant items. That would be the edge that obscures those feet and inches that are claimed in the Earth curve maths. Because it's been debunked by the Black Swan, Brenda's denying that the globe has an edge to block things like boats and buildings at a feet and inches value as laid down in the maths. Essentially, she's denying her own Earth curve maths.
I debunked your Black Swan.
Why'd you stop me?
Hang on, no. Brenda, right? What is the horizon? Is it the geometric edge of a globe?
The horizon is the point where the Earth comes between you and the rest of the globe.
So it isn't. So you are claiming it's a geometric edge of a globe. So you're claiming it's the geometric edge of a
Brenda
globe.
and Brian. Let me just get some order. I'm sorry, Brenda. Yes, Johnny. After Brenda and Brian are concluded.
So
Spheres don't
Brenda,
have
you are
edges.
claiming it's the geometric edge of a globe, Art.
No, there's no edge.
Well, you
Globes
just said
don't
it
have an
was. You
edge.
just said a minute ago it was.
No, I didn't.
Well, I asked you
I
what
said
the
it's the-
horizon was.
Okay,
You said
I made my summary, but I'll have to do it again. I'm really sorry, Brian and Brenda. So it's not an edge blocking boats and buildings. Brenda's denying her own claim.
No, I'm not.
No, she
I'm
said
saying
it
the
was.
Earth gets in the way.
So is it an edge blocking boats and buildings? A geometric edge, Brenda, blocking boats and buildings?
It's a point beyond which objects are obstructed from your view, depending on your height above the Earth.
So it's beyond the obstruction. You just said it's a point beyond which objects are obstructed from their view. So that'll be an obstruction, and then the horizon is past that. So like
It's
looking at,
relative
let's just
to your
say,
height.
let's say an oil rig is obstructing my view past the oil rig, but there's an horizon past that. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh.
Like in the Black Swan image?
No, I'm not talking about
Yeah,
the
that's
Black
what you just
Swan.
said. You just described that.
I debunked your Black Swan. I refuted it.
So even the leading edge of a globe,
No, you didn't.
leading
No, you
geometric
didn't.
edge of a globe. It's a closed question.
I refuted your Black Swan, and you're
So
still
is
not
the
understanding.
blockage geometric, Brenda, then? Okay, is the blockage that you're claiming geometric?
It is the Earth physically
Is the
becoming
blocking you're
between
claiming
you.
geometric, yes or no?
Yeah, on a sphere necessarily.
Is the blockage you're claiming geometric, yes or no? Stop wasting everyone's time, Brenda.
I was explaining it. It is
I don't need an
necessarily.
explanation, I just need a yes or no. I didn't ask you for an explanation, I asked you if you answer a closed question. Is the blockage you're claiming a geometric blockage?
Yeah, you don't get to dictate the conversation.
So yeah, so is that a yes?
The Earth comes between you
Is that a
and the
yes?
distant
So is
object.
the blockage you're claiming a geometric blockage, Brenda?
It is necessarily geometric, yes.
So it's been debunked by the Black Swan. It's a hill.
The leading
I
edge of a
debunked
globe,
the
then.
Black Swan. I took your Black Swan away from
Let's
you.
just go through it for the audience's benefit. So if the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 59 miles, then every distance to the hill, geometric sphere edge horizon, Earth curve, every distance to that hill could be measured no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer sine feet, as dictated by Earth curve maths, where it's got a geometric hill edge in the way. Distance to horizon in the Black Swan is beyond the limitations of a geometric sphere edge hill in the way, at 1.2 times the square root of the observer sine feet. Therefore, the horizon's not a hill in the way. Earth's not a sphere based on the claim that there's a hill in the way, called Earth curve.
According to Brenda,
where did you get 1.22
based
from?
off your roy height, that horizon will be 1.225 times the square root of your roy height. In distance
Your
away
Earth
from
curve
you,
maths.
according to Brenda.
She asked where he got it from. I just answer her. Your Earth curve maths.
No, you didn't. You got it from.
No, Johnny, not yet.
You got it from the Green Flash's website, right? Where he's talking about there not being an atmosphere, didn't he? You're deliberately lying, Nathan.
That's your geometry of your globe, Brendan.
Sorry, atmosphere
does
is
it
an
take
oxy.
refraction
Let's just
into
address
account?
what she said. I'm sorry. She said, I'm not paying attention to somebody who's describing oxymoronic sphere-shaped air without containment. That's an oxymoron. See, gases take the shape of their containment. So to suggest that I should be paying attention to a different set of formulas that aren't the well-established Earth curve mathematics laid out in many different places that you're decrying because you don't want there to be an edge that's been debunked by the Black Swan because of atmosphere, well, that would mean that I had to accept that we've got atmosphere, oxymoronic sphere-shaped air. We don't.
gas pressure doesn't require a container. That's false.
I really don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say about Brenda at the point. Because, I mean, Brenda, what is the point of you turning up somewhere just to tell total lies every day?
Because I'm
every
right
single
and you're
time I've
wrong.
ever spoken to you, you're around a good few years. Every single time I've ever spoken to you, there hasn't been one conversation or exchange where you didn't tell a straight out total lie.
Well, I've always told the truth. Everything I've said here is the
You've
truth.
never told the
I
truth.
am
It's the
right
only
and
thing.
you are
That's
wrong.
another lie. I've always told the truth. It's another lie. After you just told a massive lie.
Yep.
Brenda, you can
What
go
if
and
she
look at
did?
any sailing. You can look at any sailing manual, Brenda, and it's going to tell you the distance to horizon at 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That's in sailing manuals. Just jump on Google and have a little read for yourself.
That's a good point, and I will also give a point to Brenda. She cannot be physical as like Oliver Newton-John. That's just a fact of reality. You cannot block the reality, Brenda. And, okay, in other words, the Earth has been measured flat, and all of these talking points that you see in the air just now is meaningless because it has been proved that the Earth is measured flat, and I can tell you how it is done. And if you don't understand it, maybe you have to go and educate you, Brenda, because the elevation angle needs a line. It's two lines in the beginning, but it has to meet in the end that we call triangulation. But it's not triangulation of height. It's a two
Breaking up, Johnny.
descent with all the measurement together to know where you are in a point or on the ocean, for example. You can only do that if
We've lost you again, dude. But we do have Rich Evans who would like to contribute to the refraction discussion from our chat. Rich, you want to unmute your microphone and actually discuss what you're putting in the chat here? No, he's okay, thanks. He just wants to spam the chat.
I'm just wondering if Brenda understands what I'm talking about. If Brenda can give any debut against it, of course she can, or he cannot do that because she cannot do that because it's overwhelming knowledge. So now Brenda is not saying anything because she really have to think. She cannot have any debut against it. Cannot say anything against it. That's how I was saying.
He's probably not saying anything because he's server muted.
It's a mood.
What's your response, Brenda?
Okay, take it on mood. Let's see if you can say something against it.
What's the question?
Oh, so you were not listening. I said, you have anything to say against the flat Earth measurement using the elevation angle, and you need two lines, and the other lines is 180. 180 against the elevation angle. That is to GP, and GP goes up to or the star or whatsoever you can take it down with the instrument that we call sextant down to the horizon. And then you get circle of equal altitude around the GP, the ground position. And listen to the word. Circle of equal altitude is equal altitude of a big area. And if it is, it cannot be a curved area then. Do you understand that, Brenda?
No, it's hilarious that you think that that's what it's hilarious that you think that that's what the circle of equal altitude is. You haven't got a clue. Nathan doesn't know what the circle of equal altitude is.
Why are you bringing him? Hold on, stop, everyone, stop. Please, can you stop? Please, Neil, shut up. Neil, can you shut your mouth? Now, why are you bringing my name
Brenda,
into it?
could
You're
you
talking to
define-
Johnny, who's
Oh.
a former navigator, a ship's captain. When you're bringing my name into it, like you're not talking to Johnny, or what's going on?
Nathan Oakley's a lying bitch, you fucking bitch! Child
Relax,
abuse,
man. Please, can you
man!
Fuck out!
Neil, can you please stop getting so triggered? Because you're just throwing as much fuel on the fire as they would like you to. Please, can you stop doing that?
I was trying to
I'm
say
just
Johnny's a
wondering how-
navigator.
Neil,
But you guys
please,
said
can you
after
pop?
I
Neil,
said it.
please, can you pop
Forget
yourself
it.
on mute and just calm down for a minute? Thank you.
Okay, I'm just wondering how Bernta can say right over over the internet and to my ear how wrong I am about the circle of equal altitude. I am very nice to listen to explanation what circle of equal altitude is.
You don't know what it is,
From your mind.
Johnny. You don't know what the circle of equal altitude is.
Okay, tell me about it. I am open ears.
Right, it's the locus of points at which a given celestial object is at a given altitude above horizontal, right?
Yeah, what is horizontal?
Perpendicular to your zenith.
What is the reference? It's a reference to plane, right? So
No,
you're
no.
assuming
The horizontal is the plane. It's perpendicular to your local vertical.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
Okay,
Welcome to Flat Earth.
That doesn't prove
Okay,
I wonder
take
how
it
you
easy. There's all the way there. If Brenda don't understand this, then maybe Brenda has to understand that if you are from one distance from the GP, you should be able to go around the GP and have the same distance in the circle.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Oh, really?
Right. No, it's not
like
true.
If you have something from the middle point and you take a round of it, you get a circle, right? It's like a 3.14 of pi, you man. Yeah,
Some
of course it is.
some circles of altitude are not, perfect geometric, are not a fixed radius from the GP.
You're making
Yes,
fool of
they are,
yourself
Brenda.
now, Brenda.
Right? You don't know what you're talking about, right? The circle of
Brenda is
altitude
at present
is
lying
a set
to
of
anyone who wants
points.
to know.
Yeah, she's
Anyone
lying.
wants to know, I'll take her apart here now.
Yeah,
Brenda,
you still don't
you're
understand
trying to
how the
contradict
moon
what you just said to
rotates.
Johnny a second ago. Could you please do something for us? You know this horizontal you're claiming? How is that established, Brenda?
What?
How do we establish this horizontal
What's
that you're
happening?
claiming is perpendicular to Zen?
Yeah, John. The only way
One
we
second,
don't have to
Johnny.
talk about
One
it
second,
for
Johnny.
the audience, and just for the audience, if you put a string in the middle of something and go around it,
not
you get
denying that,
equal
Johnny.
circle,
She's not
right?
denying that. She's trying to just
I
say
am
it's not
denying
the
that.
Earth. She's
I
trying
am
to say it's
denying
not
that.
the Earth. So I'm asking her to define how this horizontal she's claiming is established. So Brenda, how do you establish this horizontal? What do you need to establish it?
You can
From the deck of a
if you're
boat.
on land, you can put a
From the
pan
deck
of
of a
oil
boat, I
on the
said,
ground.
from the deck of a boat with a marine sextant, how do you establish the horizontal?
You could use a bubble sextant if you're in an airplane.
Not on the boat, you can't.
No.
You can't use a bubble sextant on a boat.
That's
How do you
correct.
establish the
reference to
horizontal?
the plane.
How do you establish the
Right, you make-
horizontal with a marine sextant on the deck of a boat?
On the deck of a boat, then you take the dip to the horizon, you subtract that, and then you can
How
get
do you know the
your
dip? How do you know the dip?
horizontal.
How do you know the dip, Brenda?
That typically is in the books these days.
No, how do you know it? How do you know? How do you know what the dip should be?
You can calculate it based on your height above the sea.
Calculate it. You don't calculate a dip.
Yes, you do.
You
It's a
don't. You
calculation.
measure a height of Voya port. And if
No,
your height of
it's
Voya,
a
if your height of Voya above
calculation.
the water underneath your boat, see, we have to talk through me now because I'm about to annihilate you. If your height of Voya, measure that port is 35 feet above the water underneath your boat. That means the water that's at the horizon is also only 35 feet below your oil line. So if that horizon is 15 miles away from you, that means the water from underneath your boat to the horizon is a horizontal. That's horizontal water.
No, it doesn't.
There is no other way to establish that horizontal.
That
You don't know
doesn't
what you're
follow
talking about.
logically.
All you do, and you're trying to lie your way around it like normally.
It doesn't follow logically. What you said.
No, yes, it does. You see the way
No,
you
it
keep.
doesn't.
See the way there's all this talking going on as I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to tell you. At port, you measure your height of eye. If that height of eye is 35 feet above the water below your boat, then when you're out to sea, when you take your angle between the horizon, the visible sea horizon, and the celestial body, you only subtract for that 35 feet. Because the water at the horizon is the water at the horizon is presumed to only be 35 feet below your eye line also. So that's why when you go to the almanac, the corrections in the almanac, the dip corrections in the almanac, that's why they fit a flat plane and not a globe.
No, they don't. Right? The dip to
Yes, they
horizon
don't
isn't
fit a
your
globe,
height
Brendan. They
above
fit
the
a flat
ocean.
plane. When you do the
You're
math,
just
they don't fit
wrong.
they don't. 50 foot.
No, the dip to horizon is not.
A 50-foot eye height on a globe would be 0.2. Is it 0.24 degrees? I think it is, or 0.024 degrees. Whereas the correction is 0.016 or 0.017. That's not a globe.
Dip to horizon is not your height
Even the
above
mathematics
the
that you
ocean.
have to claim, even the mathematics that globers have to come up with to try and address that involves a dip correction off of a tangent plane. Your dip is off of a tangent plane, which is we assume to be a straight line out from underneath your boat.
You're going to need a flat Earth for that.
How did you steal my
And when it comes in a jump start and you focus on it, it takes it away from whatever is going on.
Well, he should not be allowed in ours anymore.
He isn't. He's banned.
It's a dead horse.
I'm sure AJ
You mess the earth flat, nobody can say anything about it. It's so logical. No, everybody should know that. That can use his brain. And the earth is measured flat with the elevation angle. That's so easy to understand, really. If you just try to use your brain.
Old horse or something? Can you pop yourself on
Yeah. Killing the old horse again and again.
Yeah, my bad. I thought Cooper was going to speak up and pick up the torch. He looked like he was lighting up. The chef has had a lot to say lately.
Same mic is open. You can hear the road noises, so it always lights up. I just think it's really weird how you guys keep talking to Brendan with him on server mute. It's really spineless. I don't like it. You guys should. You're going to talk about him and talk to him. You should probably let him respond, or her. I'm sorry. I don't know what the pronouns are, but whatever.
Why don't you worry about yourself, Chef?
Sure. Let's talk about the stars in the sky.
Brendan was responding just fine. Brendan got loads of time to talk. When did Brendan
I
not get a
put
chance to
Brenda on.
respond?
Hang on, guys. Sorry, I just put Brenda on server mute because when you guys jumped out, the minute you guys left the room and couldn't defend it, she started claiming again how she had taken the black swan away from Nathan and that she had disproved it, and that's why I had muted her. And I was addressing that when you guys jumped back in, when I was stating that all we've had is hand wave dismissals and nuh-ahs, and I've refuted this and I've taken it away.
Free
but we have
speech.
no evidence. So, Cooper, it was me that did it, and that was the reason why.
You mute whoever you feel needs to be muted, or unmute whoever you feel to be muted. You're very, very fair. What's wrong is that you don't, especially with someone like Brenda, nobody needs an explanation as to why Brenda got muted. Do you know what I mean?
I felt like she waited until you guys. I felt that she waited until you guys left, where you couldn't defend the Black Swan, and had to throw in that last claim for the audience that she had refuted the Black Swan and taken it away. Yeah, so she was trying to get that last word into the audience to try and lead them astray. Yeah, so that is the reason why I muted it, and that was the reason why I said what I had said in after that.
So Brenda take advantage of when we can't speak. That would be kind of like as if we're kind of muted, isn't it? So she was trying to say stuff when we were more or less, you could say more or less muted because we couldn't speak or respond.
Exactly.
Right.
Sounds like rejection to me from this guy coming in saying we're not playing fair. When we ever playing fair, Bora? Come on. When we ever playing fair? Come on in. the person with the problem.
Should you allow someone who claims to refute logic to debate logically? Should you allow someone who refutes logic, supposedly, to debate logically?
Was it Cooper or Chris?
I
or
wouldn't.
One of the two. It did sound like they wanted to actually engage in a different discussion about the stars. Or was it you, fallen friends?
Cooper.
Yes.
So I use logic to refute your bad argument, right? I am correct. You're wrong.
Goodbye, Brenda. Do you realize you were speaking to a sailor who navigated his whole life? You realize that, right?
No, she made it about me. That's where I stepped in last time. She's obsessed with me. So when she was talking to a sailor who had followed the process, she decided that she was going to make it about her refuting me when she's literally talking to Johnny, who's employed the process.
I'd like to hear about Brenda's Black Swan, how she took away the Black Swan. I'd like to hear that. That would have to be funny.
It was on Jaren's show.
No, she didn't do it on Jaren's show. Jaren used the Black Swan against her.
Yes, he did.
Ended her there and then.
Yeah, but that's
yeah, just said it was over. Like, the day ended in
I'm not watching Jaren's show.
Again?
Oh, I said I'm not watching Jaren's show.
Fair enough.
Well, Brenda, so tell us about how you took away the Black Swan. Tell us all about it. Give us all the details.
Oh yeah,
Ryan, are you looking for entertainment?
Neil, do you not know in To Keep Your Trap Shut? It's obviously not clear to you.
Right, it commits a fallacy. It's a fallacy of equivocation between the geometric and apparent horizon.
We've only got one.
Apparent. There's two horizons. All horizons are apparent, Brenda, by definition.
No, they're not. There's the geometric horizon, and then there's the
Where is
visible
that?
horizon.
Where is this geometric horizon? Where is it?
It's defined in the Green Flash's website.
So where is the? I don't know who Green
definition.
Flash is. Where is this geometric? I asked you, where is the geometric horizon? Not where it's defined. Where is it?
Oh, the geometric horizon is going to depend on the curvature of the object you're standing on and your height above it. It's a geometric
where
relationship.
Is it, this geometric horizon? And I didn't ask you. You're telling me more about it. Where is it? Where do I go to view this geometric horizon? Where can I measure to it?
Right. It's a geometric relationship between your height and the curvature of the Earth.
Geometric horizon. That would be geometric. Would be physical Earth. So where do I go to view and measure to this horizon?
You can't go to it because it extends when you walk towards it.
Where do I go to view this horizon? Where do we go to view this horizon?
You would go to an Earth without an atmosphere.
How could I go to an Earth without an oxymoron? Without containment. How could I do that? How could I possibly do that? It seems to me that your logic is getting in the way of you understanding a logical consistency argument. That's what it seems like to me.
It's a mathematical relation. It's a mathematical relation.
Bro, who recognized there's a disk in space, bro?
Hold on.
A disk is completely unnatural, bro. The form of a disk, okay, in space-time is completely unnatural.
Hold on, Brian. Sorry,
completely
there's
unnatural.
a globe believer wanting to share his pain about what he believes flat Earth is through the top of your discussion. Sorry, Brian. I just
Can this man tell me where
Brian,
his
I
geometric
must
horizon is?
be able to retain control here. It's nothing personal. It's everyone, not just on my panel, on the Discord panel too. So if I don't acknowledge this guy, that's it. Audio chaos ensues indefinitely. I must be able to retain
I asked
control.
him a question, Nathan.
I know, but there's a guy chanting. There is a guy chanting through you, and I've got to take control of that, Brian. Otherwise, nothing you say is going to be heard from this point forth. Yeah, there's a guy chanting about discs in space and how absurd it is through the top of this discussion that he's obviously not listening to, because he desperately needs to share his pain about what he believes a flat Earth is through the top. Now, hopefully there's quick conclusionary points and we can get on to a different fundy. We'll see.
What about the geometric horizon that's been claimed?
We don't have one. She said the way you'd see it is on an Earth with no atmosphere, oxymoron. You've addressed it. So it doesn't exist.
a
We can't see it.
mathematical.
It doesn't exist. Then she went on to say it only exists in the maths. So Earth curve only exists in the maths.
Yeah, but
So all she's
geometric
describing
then.
is a reification fallacy. She's just reifying her maths into some sort of reality.
I
Pardon
don't
me, but it
understand
does
how
not.
something can be geometric if it can't be shown in reality. I don't understand that. Because I can draw any geometric shape and then show that shape in reality. But I can't do that with this geometric horizon.
Yeah.
That she's claiming.
It's like we can talk.
You can't say the Earth is.
Okay,
Brian,
let's just take her at face
Nathan,
value so we
Mayor.
can round this out. Who's doing that? Let's take her at face value. Okay, so according to Brenda, light always refracted. It's not never no atmo day. Ergo, we haven't got straight lines to anything. It's always bent. Okay. Well, on screen.
We don't have a geometric horizon, Nathan. That's
Okay.
what that means.
Well, I was just about to.
There's no
I got that.
horizon. It means the horizon is not the geometric edge of the globe. It means our curve is debunked. Though the globes claim geometry, it means there is no globe and no heliocentric model. That's what it actually means.
Brian, relax, Brian.
Not horizon bending.
You're not helping, Johnny. You're not in charge either, Johnny. Thanks. Yeah, don't need that. I'll do that. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Brian. But yeah, it debunks the entirety of the geometry. As soon as you say that, well, we've got no straight lines to anything, it's always in an atmosphere, oxymoron, sphere-shaped air without containment.
That's not. No. It's not about straight lines. All lines of sight in their paradigm are straight. It's that the straight line of sight to the horizon you're viewing, the horizon is not the geometric edge of their globe. That's what debunks their geometry.
Right.
But the claim is that Earth is curving. It can't if you're going to state there's a geometric horizon. It's in the math. Surface level is a horizontal plane in that mathematics. Why is she saying it's curving?
Can I also say on technology that we are using?
Well, she was unmuted, so we could hear her response to that.
She was speaking with me, and one of you fundies came in to have a problem.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Remember that? Just to remind you what actually happened.
Cooper and Johnny have decided. Brian.
Just to remind you,
Brian. Cooper and Johnny have decided. No. Conversation's over. We're going to interject with our two pennyworth and colour commentary. You appealing to the fact that you are having a discussion with Brenda is neither in it there to the people who've decided they're going to talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Subtlety isn't Johnny's. Definitely not his strong suit. Subtlety for Johnny. That means, Brian's desperately trying to appeal to the conversation that he was having with someone completely different. You've decided otherwise.
Brian, I love you, but you don't give all the chance. I was in the middle of the sentence and you starting. Okay, but that's what I'm trying to say. It's overwhelming truth. Everything has been to be. Oh, you're doing it again. Everything has been said. Yeah, we have all the technology. We have the radar over 500 miles that can reach in a straight line. Oh, that will not fit with 3959, the radius of so-called sphere. So we have that. We have this. We can keep on and keep on, but we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that really, because of the elevation angle and how the Earth is measured flat. I don't have to. I can talk about sonar and submarines. They use sonar over long distance. It cannot be if the Earth is spherical, then they will not be able to do that. Yeah, I can keep on and keep on and keep on. But in the end, the Earth is measured flat, and Nathan Oakley is absolutely right about that.
Brown.
It's finito.
Right.
Thank you.
There was a dude that was expressing his pain that was like playing Disc in Space or something.
No, he dipped as well. Just another troll jumping in to cause some chaos.
Hey, Brenda.
Good conclusion, Brian.
Yeah, that's all it is. But The thing about it is that Brenda's well able to take care of herself. She doesn't need any of these. Brenda will just lie her way around it or whatever. She doesn't need any, in fairness. Did I hear there was a guy called Old Hoss, or Old Hoss, in the audience there?
Yeah, Old Hoss.
Is he around?
Yeah. Old Hoss, you there? Old Hoss, Radburn.
I'm here but busy. Well, I can listen
cool,
while it's up.
It's okay. That's not the person I was thinking of. No, sorry. Sorry for calling you out there. It was a different
no
Old
problem.
Hoss. No worries. Thank you. I know this other guy is a European.
It was Cooper.
Hi.
Yeah, I think it was.
Who?
What's up?
Sorry, no, I mixed up. I thought I heard Nathan say Old Hoss, and I thought that was another guy,
He
a
was hot
European
micing
guy.
at the time.
Yeah, sorry about that. My mistake.
Right, we're going to hang around for another half an hour or so in this server.
It's about a few housekeeping questions. Get the ball rolling again.
Yeah.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
We do that at the beginning. We did do one. We did gas pressure without a container right at the beginning of the live show.
Well, I have proof on molten iron core.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The guy said it was what did he say the last time?
Now you're asking me.
Because I've drawn a blank, but he said something about oh shoot. I'll think of it.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Neil.
Magnetism.
TBT Darla, you're hot micing. I've just server muted you. I'll take you off shortly and see how you go.
Electric charge, that's what it was. That the Earth has an electric charge.
Okay. And?
Do you agree that the Earth has an electric charge?
Electric charge? Do you mean there's an inference because there's a magnetic field that's somehow electricity driven? I mean, those two things can be shown to be intrinsically linked. But I know we've got a magnetic field, so what?
Therefore, molten iron core exists because it makes it spin. And because it's spinning, it's becoming a molten iron core. There you have it.
Well, I could have
I
stopped you.
just answered a housekeeping question.
I could have stopped you at the first non sequitur. Unicorn Earth because magnetic fields. Why? Well, because we've got magnetic fields. And that proves what?
I didn't say anything about a unicorn, Nathan.
Sorry, you interrupting my absolutely awesome proof that Earth's a unicorn. How? Well, magnetic fields, Neil.
You're going to need the radius value for your sphere Earth with the magnet in the core.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, it's on screen now. I kept it up for just this moment. When you say what molten iron core, like the centre of the plane of the ecliptic in this example, with you measuring an angle off a flat plane in the middle of it, it's going to be very hot to measure this angle.
Nobody got Johnny's joke when he said Olivia Newton-John. I got it, Johnny.
Any evidence of the R value, the radius?
I think we've tuckered out all the fundies. Are there actually any globe believers still in here?
Yeah, we got Brenda in the chat telling us the R is measured. Do we want to hear how it's measured?
Yeah.
Might as well.
All right.
Maybe she means the R that you need for your elevation angle for your circle of equal altitude to find your latitude. Maybe that's the R value that she's referring to of a circle.
Okay. Well, you've got the flat Earth
No,
claim on the table.
How's this R value measured, Brenda?
There's a number of ways.
Detail one of them.
Geodetic surveyors can measure the circumference of the Earth. Yes, its curvature.
Can they? How did they do that?
How?
What tools did they
Yeah.
use? What's the processes?
By spherical excess. The triangles
Spherical
that add
excess.
up to greater than 180 degrees.
Really?
Right?
Okay.
You can quantify that.
How did they?
I was in the middle.
Get the
I was in the
spherical
middle
excess?
of explaining. I was in the middle. I was in the
No,
middle
but
of
you just said
explaining.
spherical excess. That's not. You just said spherical excess. That would require an R value to begin with, so that's not a measurement of an R value. So spherical excess. How did they get the spherical excess, Brenda?
Well, that's the end
How
of
did they
the
get that?
discussion.
By measuring triangles.
Sorry, no.
By measuring triangles.
God,
No.
sorry. Well, we're still past the graveyard, shall we? He asked you for a measurement of R. You beg the question. Well, spherical excess. What? You've already got the spherical R value to make the excess calculations with? I'm thinking no. That's just straight up begging the question fallacy.
You don't know what begging the question fallacy
Assuming your
is.
outcome.
You don't understand
Assuming your outcome.
It's an ad-hoc.
No, that's
assuming
not
you're
it.
out.
That's not what
I'm
it
trying
is.
to explain what you've accused me of not understanding. Assuming
You're
your
wrong.
outcome. That is to say, if I say unicorn Earth is proven because if the Earth's a unicorn, then we'll have magnetic fields. Yeah, that's me begging the question that Earth's a unicorn in my first statement. That's begging the question, assuming the outcome. Spherical excess, you say? All right, so we're definitely spherical then, assuming that we're spherical because you've said it and you're begging the question fallacy.
Right, you got it wrong. That's not what the begging the question fallacy states.
Yes,
No, we're not debating what a begging the question fallacy is. It's assuming your outcome. When you say spherical excess for a measurement of R, that assumes we're spherically basing this radial value that you're measuring.
An assumption isn't begging the question.
So now we're going to
Nathan.
debate about what a begging the question fallacy is rather than her begging the question
because-
fallacy of a spherical R value. Lovely.
Because you accused me of begging the question and you got it wrong.
You did. As soon as you said
Right,
spherical.
because you're
you
wrong.
did. You did.
You're wrong.
You did. You're here to debate the Earth's a sphere. The moment you say spherical excess, you're automatically assuming that which you're here to debate about. No, still not getting it?
Anything but an R measurement.
Assumptions don't beg the question, Nathan.
That's precisely what they did. They assume the outcome. It is an assumption
That's
by
wrong.
definition, and I don't want to debate what begging the question is. You begged the question of a spherical Earth when you said spherical excess. You're here to prove sphericity, not assume it by way of begging the question. I absolutely, without question, expect the fifth rendition of her telling me to debate about what a begging the question fallacy is, rather than addressing her use of that fallacy when she assumed sphericity, that which she is here to prove, by way of assumption in saying there is spherical excess. Measured from a flat plane. It's from the equatorial plane. That's how you get your PZX triangle, to say they add up. They're not triangles anymore if they're curved lines meeting at vertices. That's not what a triangle is. So you can't get a spherical excess triangle measurement when you take a PZX triangle from the equatorial plane measured out to the spherical radial value that's already assumed in your premise, aka begging the question. Yeah, you've been undone, thwarted, beaten.
Okay, can somebody in the panel or in the house educate me how something can go around its own axis in our physical world?
Shut up, Johnny.
In classical rhetoric and logic, begging the question or assuming the conclusion is an informal fallacy that occurs when an argument's premises assumes the truth of the conclusion. Begging the question.
So like if you were here to prove Earth's a sphere and you started off by saying, well, if I measure spherical excess, that's sort of begging the question.
Correct.
Well, just so the audience knows,
Yeah, they measure
John, go
flat
on.
Earth elevation angles first.
Yes.
Then they do their primary calculations to calculate their sphere to come up with their spherical excess, but they start with an elevation angle from a flat surface.
That's right. The PZX angles are projected out from the equatorial plane. Go ahead, Brian. I know you've been trying to get the actual conclusion. Go ahead.
Yeah, what they are, just so the audience knows that we're not just hand waving away this thing. Not that it doesn't deserve to be just hand waved away. Spherical excess, nothing to do with a measurement of an R value, Brenda. Spherical excess is they measure actual triangles. As I said before on this server, my mother's partner is a retired geodetic surveyor. He was a geodetic surveyor for 3 or 4 decades. And they measure actual triangles. Let's just say between 3 mountains, an actual triangle. And then mathematically, when you place that actual triangle, there's only 100, none less, no more, 180 degrees of internal angles. When you place that onto a convex curved surface, it then bows out those lines and increases the angles, but also creates an area in the center of the triangle that doesn't exist in reality. That was what they call spherical excess. If they want to use any of those things, they then have got to unbend it and bring it back to an actual triangle in reality to use it in any way practically. That's what spherical excess is. There is no bendy triangles. There is no spherical excess. It's all mathematical belief nonsense. That's all it is. In reality, they measure actual triangles. Geodetic surveyors do.
I don't see how they come up with the concept that levels curving to give them any of these claims. But it's just contradictory. It's flat out contradiction. Can't curve level.
I have a question of possible ignorance.
Feel free. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I got to push the screen to talk, and I got grease on my fingers. You look up to Polaris and measure, right? That's the measurement to look at Polaris.
That's latitude, yeah.
So we're looking up now to prove flat Earth.
No, you're measuring the baseline. So at the end of the measurement, you've got GP position for Polaris on the end of the baseline. GP being the ground position. So if you were directly underneath Polaris, it would be above you at your zenith, right? If you're measuring your latitude, you're taking a line along the ground to the ground position below Polaris. That's a flat baseline measurement. Then the second line is up to Polaris. So the baseline is a prerequisite. You're measuring ground positions on the ground, on the flat ground that you're measuring with this angle.
You know,
so you're saying it's an assumption at GP as well, right?
Come again?
So it's a relative close assumption to GP as well, right?
It's a prerequisite for it to work. Work it does. It's utilized daily and has developed our mapping system.
Right. So again, we're looking up to establish down, right?
No, second time's a charm. Measuring a baseline to ground positions with one of those lines, it seems you're ignoring the ground positions and line along the ground called a baseline for the angle. It's 2 lines. One is up to the sky. The other is the one we'll be utilizing for navigation, and it has a ground position, GP, at the end of it, along the ground that we're going to measure. Obviously, you didn't listen the first time. Seemed like you did because you didn't say anything. Second time, you chanted through it. Yeah, we are measuring the ground and ground positions with this measurement. Third time.
And I just have to say, the ground.
Why? When I'm in discussion with a different guy? Why, Johnny? Why? Clearly in a discussion with someone else. I've just repeated something.
Okay.
Johnny, if you can't shut your trap, you're going to have to be muted by one of the server operators because you're now chanting through someone else's discussion. What, because it's got juicy, suddenly Johnny's got to get involved and ruin it? No, mate. Ground positions, along the ground. 4th time's a charm.
It's an assumption of position, yeah.
An assumption or a measurement of an angle? No, not an assumption.
So it's Polaris.
There was me responding, and there's you being triggered. Shocking, isn't it? How me, the flat earther, is explaining how it's a measurement of an angle, and yet I'm being told it's an assumption of an angle. No, it's an angle measurement. It's called an elevation angle measurement, not an elevation angle assumption, because you've got a globe belief where the ground curves away from you. I would assume you appreciate that this is defined and justified as a measurement by definition. Do you not appreciate that? Because if so, I can define it for you.
So Polaris is absolutely non-deviating in position.
Non-responsive.
I'm asking the question.
Oh, really? You're leading me, are you? I don't think so. I think I'm leading you when I say no, ground positions along the ground. For an elevation angle measurement, you said was an assumption. No, I've responded to that last thing you said. You just haven't acknowledged my rebuttal and want to move on and leave me with a different question.
I'm going to
AKA subvert the question by now chanting through the fact I'm highlighting to my audience that you're subverting the question with a new question. You put something to me that it was an assumption. I rebutted it. You ignored it and decided that you were going to lead the conversation after that, which you stated an assumption of no measurement. You're going to respond to that which you've been refuted with, or are you just going to keep chanting through me?
I'm not chanting. I'm trying to talk with you, Nathan.
Well, talk through me when I point out that you've ignored my rebuttal when you said it was a assumption and I pointed out it was defined as a measurement. You thought you'd move on to a different question because you were leading the conversation. That's the second summary. You're now chanting through me. You're now chanting through the summary because you don't want to hear it. You're a coward and you've lost. No, mate, it's definitely a measurement. It's defined as such. It's called an elevation angle measurement, and it seems the moderators aren't going to step in while this guy causes total audio chaos by chanting through the fourth rendition of the same thing I've refuted him with, and he waved past when asking a new question and trying to take control of the conversation after his loss. No, assumption, you say? Incorrect, defined as a measurement. The measurement, one of the lines, is along the ground, not your first point that it was only with the sky, ignoring half the bloody measurement. Not assumption, measurement. Fifth time. Coward that needs to chant through me. You may respond as I lead you to this flat earth measurement that you want to deny by only acknowledging the sky bit, not the ground position bit. That's not an assumption, it's a measurement. You hear me? You hear me?
I'm trying to be very, very
Mute
nice.
Johnny. Mute Johnny.
I just want to give one sentence out to
No.
That is.
No. Did you hear me? Clearly not. It's not an assumption, as you stated, and then walked past when I refuted it. It's a measurement.
I'm trying to talk with
Maybe
you,
if you talk when you've left in a protracted silence and someone else has come to your rescue, that would be Johnny. Maybe as I'm reiterating the point that you left a protracted silence over, it'd be better to start talking immediately through me then. Because then what, you won't be closed in terms of my line for my audience? No, you're not chanting through me. My audience can hear me. What I'm telling them is that you're chanting through me so that you don't have to listen to the fact you've been refuted when you said it's an assumption. Now, there's no flat earth assumption. There's a measurement of an angle with respect to a baseline. It's called a horizontal plane of reference, meaning we must reference it for this measurement. We're referencing the ground. It's part of the measurement. There is no assumption. It's a reference plane. We reference it, not assume it.
Okay, so we can navigate, correct?
So you acknowledge that we are not assuming it, as you stated, and there is he responding immediately through the answer. You asked me something, I'm responding. There's him chanting instantly because he's in defeat. He knows he's lost. He knows he's screwed. He knows he tried to represent the argument as, oh, you're only measuring the sky to prove your flat earth measurement. Oh, it's not a measurement. It's an assumption for your measurement. Yeah, and then when I reiterate my win, he chants through me. Scummy, globe believers. It's the only way you can seem to get a win when I point out it's not an assumption. It's not just a measurement to the sky. It does very specifically include the word ground when making this measurement because we're measuring ground positions along a flat baseline that's a reference, horizontal in nature, aka a horizontal plane of reference for the angle measurement. Refuting is crap. Like stamping all over his stupid face with his stupid nonsense that I've refuted. I would expect somebody losing to me, the flat earther, to just chant straight through the middle of every single conclusion. All 7 of them.
I will wait.
Did you hear me? Flat earth required. That doesn't require any other person than the guy I was talking to actually answer me. Now I've actually got it through in clear airways without chanting through it 8 times.
No, I had to mute him because he kept chanting through you and he dipped out again on the last one. So that's the 3rd time he's been in and dipped out and come back. So he'll be back.
It's only a situation where upon losing, they will only tolerate continual audio chaos or leave. That is the only roads they're prepared to take.
Oh, we got him back, so I'll take him off server mute and you can ask him the question.
No worries. You appreciate that when taking horizontal planes of reference for an angle measurement that has GPs specifically in reference to that angle measurement, it is A, not just the sky, and B, not an assumption. It's a plane of reference, meaning we reference it in the measurement. On screen for my audience is this horizontal plane of reference, straight, not curved, to a GP in the diagram from this navigation manual. The GP is on the ground. Obviously, it's a ground position. Here's the second line the guy denied when he claimed it was just the sky. Nope. Here's the ground position on the ground, on the horizontal plane of reference, not assumed, measured, with this bloody demonstration of the measured angle. So I've refuted every single scrap of your garbage, mate. Do you understand?
Do you claim a celestial sphere?
Non-responsive.
I know you don't have an answer for that. I'm just asking.
Also non-responsive and ad hom. Fallacy use. So you don't understand plane of reference. My audience understands it's on screen for them. I've detailed it to you verbally. Ground positions, horizontal planes of reference to reference, not assumptions, not a single line to the sky. Do you understand I've refuted both of your 2 claims that I've took apart 9 times?
But you're measuring Earth, so why are you looking up?
Non-responsive.
Okay, I guess you ain't got an answer for that again.
No, you're non-responsive.
So
you're not
understand
responding to me pointing out that I've refuted that which you've claimed 10 times by pointing out A, not just the sky, your first gambit, and B, not an assumption of a flat ground, a measurement of an elevation angle with ground positions. Measured. That's 2 points you raised, I have refuted, and now you are chanting through. That's why you get muted by the operators, not because I'm unreasonable, because you can't tolerate being proven wrong when you dictate to me that it's an assumption, and you are wrong in that assumption when it's defined as a measurement, and I can show it in navigation angles with the words or letters GP, meaning ground position, on the ground for this process, you think's an assumption for one of the angle halves, not just the sky, that are measured, not assumed. I've refuted every bit of your crap 11 times. You think you need to ask me something because you're a coward who can't respond. Do you understand that's which I've responded to you 11 times with?
Can you define chant for me, Nathan?
Chant means talk through the top of somebody else so that you don't have to listen to what they're saying and respond to it, like you've just done with your non-responsive answer. You haven't acknowledged that I've refuted your 2 points about it just being the sky. No, it isn't. It's 2 lines. And not being an assumed anything when you're measuring an angle. That's 12 times. Did you want to give me a 5th non-responsive answer?
Thank you for proving that chant can be silent.
Non-responsive. Do you want a 12th rendition, coward?
Yeah, I mean, you're saying measurement of Earth, but you're assuming by looking up, correct? But you're accepting the position.
No, measuring, not assuming by looking up. No, we look through a tool that measures things. It's called a sextant in the example on screen for my audience. This is from a navigation manual. It's not just looking up. Yeah, your hand wave that I've responded to 12. This is chanting. This is what I define as chanting. This right now. This is chanting right now. This is what he's doing. He's chanting through me. As I point out that it's been 12 times I've refuted that first point and defined that it's his first point about just being the sky. That's 13 times I've overcome your argument, my friend.
I think I said that horse. Maybe I want to.
Why isn't Johnny on mute? Why isn't Johnny on mute as I bask in victory? Why isn't the silence being ringed out instead of Johnny's voice being through it? What's going on? No, mate, I've refuted you 13 times. You keep rinsing and repeating the same point by saying it's just the sky again, presumably because you chanted through the first 12 times I said it, so you didn't have to listen to it and then ask me what chanting was instead of responding. I pointed out that your response about what chanting is non-responsive to my point about it not being an angle to just the sky, or as you put it, just looking up. No, it's an angle measurement with a tool that measures things, and what you're measuring is a baseline, a horizontal plane of reference with ground positions on it. That's 14 times I've refuted your position, globe-believing Fundy. Is it not embarrassing? Maybe you'd like to run away again or go to a non sequitur so you can non-responsive your way away from this point I've refuted 14 times.
Quit saying I'm running while your posse mutes me. What are you talking about?
Non-responsive.
Nathan, can I say something?
I know you have no response for it, Nathan. That's the issue.
Non-responsive and projection. Projecting a non-responsive answer onto me. Non-responsive and projection. So you can't accept my 14 renditions then. In conclusion, this man's a fundamentalist religious zealot who cannot in any way tolerate that which opposes his own belief. In his mind, he believes the ground is curving away at 80 miles squared. In terms of how it is measured flat, he cannot accept that. Doesn't matter what I show him. He'll ask me a non sequitur every time I put it to him. Doesn't matter if I put it 400 times. I've done it with people like conspiracy cats in excess of 100 times with different points that they fundamentally cannot accept and will chant their zealotry through the top of as many times as it comes their way. Earth is measured flat. This is taken from a navigation handbook. This is a demonstration of an angle with respect to a baseline with a ground position on it. Measured 15 times.
He's gone.
Took option 2, so when I was correctly identifying him as having an option to run away, he took that option. After telling me he wasn't running away, he was getting muted. Now, people were stopping you chanting that which you asked to define in order to be non-responsive. Phrased it correctly that time.
My son's been saying the same thing, though, with this celestial sphere. He just ain't getting it.
And sorry, I had Johnny on mute, but I did unmute him after a little while, hoping that he'd just chill out for a minute until the conversation was over, but he didn't do it.
Yeah.
May I point out to him that his question initially was malformed because he invoked up, which is in reference to a horizontal plane, and then he said we're using up, which is in respect to a horizontal plane, to prove the horizontal plane. It makes no sense as a question.
Oh, dear.
Well, I would point out, actually, that what he did was he came in claiming ignorance and asked the question, and then when being given the answer, he decided to argue against whatever the answer was going to be from a position of pre-assumed knowledge. So that's not really asking, that's not someone who actually sees themselves as ignorant of a topic, is it?
I was just going to ask you then, how can that be ignorant? Sounds like he was a little bit deceptive there.
Can you take Johnny off mute? I absolutely don't mind if he interrupts Brian and Neil.
Now keep your trap shut.
I'm sorry, Johnny. It's just I'd rather the silence rang out than your interruption in the middle of a stony silence after 14 attempts to get someone to concede something. You're taking it as an opportunity. Oh, there's a gap. No. Pay more attention, Johnny.
No, I'm with you, but the monologue was too long and saying the same thing again and again and again. It's boring.
Yeah. I'm seeking concession, Johnny. It's not me being.
I was trying
it's
to
not verbal
give you...
diarrhea. I'm not stuck in a loop. I'm asking my opponent to concede the point he's raised. He says assumed Earth flat. I say measured Earth flat, and give him an example. He says, "What about blah blah blah?" And I say, "No, Johnny, no. We're not going to just whistle past the fact it's measured flat because you say it's assumed. I point out it isn't, and then you just move on." He doesn't get to. You can see that as my verbal diarrhea. It isn't, though.
What I was trying to say is in the chat, and Brenda and some people were trying to say, oh, ankle doesn't have any baseline. Yeah, the baseline is the line you're standing on and taking the elevation angle from. Therefore, we call it a baseline. And that was I want to point in because of people who are talking about that in the text yet, and so on and so on. And it's very, very important.
Fine. Yes.
Johnny,
good
that was
conclusion.
my point to Brenda earlier on concerning the dip correction. 1 second, Nathan. Sorry. That was what I took a Brenda apart with earlier. Is that you have to, the Earth has to, like sea level has to be horizontal for the process to work. That's the whole point. And she's just back to trying to promote a narrative. That's all it is. That's what the ballers do. They go back to promoting a narrative. Keep promoting a narrative, even though the narrative has been shown to be faulty. They keep going back and trying to promote the same narrative.
Brian, we are talking about deep correction, and they think a deep angle is something. It isn't. It's from tangent plane. It has nothing to do with celestial navigation like it is done with the sextant. It's just made up because we don't know what they are talking about in the first place. What we are talking about is, and the baseline is from the height you are taking the elevation angle from. Then, if you are higher over the sea level, that's the zero, then you have to make deep correction to the zero to make it absolutely right. If you don't do that, you might come on the right place, or maybe 5 miles away, or maybe more, something. But you don't have to make this deep correction. But if you will be very, very exact, yes, you really have to.
It's less. Don't say that because I doubt it, but I'll just say it for humorous effect. That'll trigger Brian. It did 2 years ago. It won't now. Everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, but see, that's because people are misunderstanding. Let me just put something clear here. I'm not here to debate celestial navigation. I'm using a process within celestial navigation that proves that sea level, right, has to be a horizontal, right? Foregoing waves and swells has to be a horizontal. There needs to be a horizontal through those waves and swells for the process of celestial navigation to work with a marine sextant at sea. For that to happen, sea level has to be horizontal. Same for bubble sextant and for artificial horizons, it's the same thing. But that's the point of dip correction. You're referencing the actual Earth, and you're showing that the Earth has to have a horizontal baseline for this to work. That means the Earth has to be a massive horizontal plane. That's what I don't care about, even though I understand it and I've had to learn about it. I don't care about the rest of celestial navigation. I'm only interested in the part that proves that the Earth has a horizontal baseline.
Awesome.
That's it. Brian, or you could say so here. If you're on the surface and you will get success to come to the place that you want to go to, it has to be a horizontal plane, and horizontal plane is the same, a level plane. Level and horizontal is the same. You say, it can be level. No, it cannot be level if it is not horizontal. If it's not level, then you have to use the word angle from.
I get what you're trying to do, and there's no need. Johnny, just stop 1 sec.
Yeah,
you're saying there's the level when they claim it's not level, as in comporting to the outside edge of a sphere, can't be the case when they say level isn't level, because level must be horizontal for it to be a plane of reference. You're right, but there's really no need, because at this stage, because we're going to duck out of politics service shortly, like in the next couple of minutes, unless a massive row ensues, and then we might hang around if someone asks us something.
The whole point of why I've stuck so hard on dip correction for so many years, since 2021, I think it was 2021 when I first learned about celestial navigation from 10th man, is because it proves that the water at the horizon, we don't know how far away that is. Look at the Black Swan. Look at the 1 foot observation that BLMSB 69 made to an horizon 31 miles away, right, from 1 foot. You don't know how, I know because I've been out to sea myself, right, many times. You don't know how far away the horizon is at sea. So let's just say you're on a boat and you're 35 feet above the water below your boat, and you're doing dip correction. That means that the water at your horizon, which could be 15, 20 miles away, you don't know, that has to be only 35 feet below your oil line also, which means that's horizontal water.
I have to complicate this, what
globe.
you're trying to say, Brian. You have to wait now. Just take it easy now.
Well, I'm about to. Well, before you do, Johnny, I've just literally announced I'm going to duck out of this server so we don't overtax the moderation team, and they're still, keen to have us back next week. So can you keep it to under a minute?
Yes. That is, you said that you didn't know how far it is. Yes, you know it is so far at this meeting. The GP in the straight line that you take the elevation. I'm talking about that. You might not know how far it is, but you are making this instrument. Therefore, you need the table. You need all of this math. You need the map of the almanac that you have all the information, and the almanac has the tables and position of the star over the time. Therefore, you have to mark the time also. Everything has to work together. You have to do it right, and that's the answer. And I'm trying to be very, very short. So
okay, perfect.
There you have it.
Well, with that, I want to say a massive thank you first and foremost to the Politics Discord server for hosting us today. So thank you very much to all of you, especially the moderators. And
no problem. Thank you.
We'll see you next week if that's good by you.
Yep, no problems. I won't be in next week, but the other mods and everyone will be in here. It's my son and daughter's birthdays, so I've got to have a dinner.
It's fortunately, because it's a good server, it's not all on your shoulders, it seems. You've got a good team of moderators. You're just one of them. I don't want to decry you by saying that, but you know what I'm getting at.
No, 100%. We've got a great team of moderators in here. We've got Critton here, who's been helping out as well tonight. We've got Mr. Amish. Old Hoss is also. Yeah, Quad.
Yeah, I gotta agree. You did great with Rob Noxious.
I hope that wasn't a backhanded slight. Anyway, thank you guys. We will see you next week.
No worries. Thank you, Nathan.
I'm only joking, AJ.
I've already cut them off. For us, the conversation will continue. So I may join the FED server. What do you reckon?
Sure, yeah.
Nobody in there, but I'm sure they will once they see that we're carrying on. I'll go into the after show. Or should I go into Ever After? Ever After.
It's up to you.
Ever After, fine.
Ever After.
I think we should try to use the horizontal plane of reference to debunk the horizontal plane of reference. Seems
that's
to be
the way
the
to
trend.
do it. Yep.
I think we should figure out mathematically how the Earth gets in its own way.
If I use a horizontal plane of reference, I can show how not flat Earth is.
Yeah, if I claim the celestial dome, that will definitely help me.
Well, that's what the curvature calculator, they think their interpretation of that mathematics, that's what they're claiming, that's showing. Like Brenda said it's curving away from itself. What is itself? Level. Level is curving away from level?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, the geometric horizon is below surface level. That's the actual answer. You didn't manage to pin her on anything in that regard, but it's Brenda, right, Brian? So don't feel hard, done by in that regard.
No, what I was looking to do was actually get her, and I was going to take a different direction with it, except for the whole thing got stopped by whoever came in. What I was looking for her is to claim refracted blockage. That's what I was looking for. I wasn't taking
refracted blockage.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah,
I knew you were going for that.
I knew Nathan. Hang on, this is not working. She's not going for it. At one point she said, "Yeah, it is the geometric horizon." At one point, she more or less said, "You know what I mean? It's more or less geometric, this kind of stuff." So I was just about to go to refractive blockage, and this other guy came in. Remember, the guy came in just with a problem, and then he dipped out, as they all seem to do.
I really like.
But I think Brenda. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say I really quite like the aspect of being in a completely foreign server, where typically in a certain set of circumstances they'd start appealing to my unfavourable treatment of them as an individual, right? With words like, "You're muting me to shut me down because you're afraid of my truth." Whereas in there, they get muted And then after they come off mute, whenever the person who's decided to mute them sees fit, then they start bleating about it. And the moderator, who's obviously got control to just yank the mic out of anyone's hand and go, actually, no, what you were doing was chanting straight through the rebuttals. And you're like, oh, this just makes me feel so much more relaxed in this chair, you know, because sometimes when they appeal to that, yeah, I can overcome it, but it's dealt with so much more quicker by a third party that's not running the server, that is running the server and not me, sorry. I like politics.
When you're in your own channel, you're having to moderate your own debate. I guess debate is the only word for it, because I mean, there's never a valid point brought up against it, you know. But you're having to be the moderator and the debater when you're on your channel in your show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's been used as an angle against me for such a long time now that I'm more than happy to go into politics, see the same thing, exactly the same thing, unfold in terms of their behaviour towards us. They are petrified of us.
Yeah, they won't come off mute, and when they do, they want to just talk, ask you a question, you go to answer, especially with you, Nathan, more than anyone else, but you go to answer, then they talk straight through your answer, and then they dip out. That's not the sign of someone who's courageous or feels confident in their argument.
Yeah, but they've got no excuses, is my point. So it's like people can watch it unfold and see that there's third-party moderation taking place. They're not going to suddenly level anything at my door. So therefore, what can they assess? Well, the argument. I say my door. It's really our door. You know, your door, Brian, when you're having the same benefit of being in a third-party server. You know, benefits all of us when we're having a debate with Brenda and she's yammering straight through the top of you. As much as I hate to say it, you know, people like, I hate to say it, Neil, but you and Johnny do the same thing. You know, you're adding fuel to the fire when someone comes in like Rob Noxious and you find it highly objectionable, but that's what they're hoping for. He's aiming that actually at you, not me. He wants to trigger whoever to cause a bit of audio chaos and have that be the subject change. The context of whatever it is they're claiming is irrelevant.
Yeah,
no, that shouldn't be allowed. No, there was no subject change. That shouldn't be allowed. Should be dealt with every time. Yeah. You got right back on the subject.
Yeah, but Neil, as soon as one of us jumps on it, it highlights it even more, as opposed to it just being an offhand comment that just got ignored and forgotten. Like, that's
I said just kick him out. And the other thing I said was Black Swan. I got stopped on it, and then it was Black Swan 30 seconds later. That's a little annoying.
It wasn't the time for Black Swan, Neil. It wasn't the time for Black Swan. I was trying to go somewhere else with it.
But 30 seconds later, it was. Okay, I see.
It doesn't matter. Well, yeah, when it's the time for it, it's the time for it. That's the point. See, with Brenda, why was I getting Brenda? Why was I asking for Brenda? Why was I saying, yeah, bring on Brenda? Because otherwise it's going to be dead air. The rest of them won't come in. Brenda will come in. Brenda doesn't care. She doesn't give a damn. Brenda will come in. So, and Brenda, as far as I'm concerned, should only be seen as entertainment. She shows the audience who want to listen to the live show exactly what we're doing.
And then when I said, Brian, and when I said, Brian, you're looking for entertainment, that's when I got told I can't keep my trap shut. So I don't know what the frick to do anymore. Maybe I'll just keep my trap shut.
No, read the room, Neil. Read the room. Listen to what I'm saying. If it's me talking, listen to where I'm going with.
Brian, you're gonna tell me I'm not reading the room, really? You know what?
You're not reading the room.
Yeah, I got no use to this freaking thing no more.
No, I said, when you said entertainment, I said, yeah, I agreed to that. Is he gone? That really annoys me when he does that. It's like, why are you doing that? Why are you just leaving?
Usually when Neil says something, most people are thinking what he says out loud. I know it's disruptive when you're trying to get a point across, but usually it's most people could agree to what he's saying.
Listen, if I could have caught Rob Noxious up by the throat at that point, I would have. He instantly infuriated me. But I know to shut up because that's what he wants.
Exactly.
But Neil doesn't seem to know.
Has Neil got the ump and disappeared?
Yeah, he's at that disappearing because I told him he needs to learn to read the room.
Johnny's more guilty. He was doing it worse.
Johnny doesn't give a shit. That's the problem with Johnny. Johnny is a drunk. I like Johnny, but he's a drunk.
Neil's the opposite end of the scale. He cares too much. He's really, really fighting for my corner when he's like, I can't believe you said this about Nathan. And I really appreciate it. But by the same token, it's like, they know that empathy's there. They're appealing to it by saying something outrageous in the middle of a losing debate for the Globe. Neil's latched onto it. You've told him to read the room and he's took the ump. Because he's like, you don't see my motivation. You don't see the greater good. You don't see that I'm defending your honour. It's like, yeah, we do. We're still telling you to read the room. His heart's so much in the right place, though, isn't it?
Most people have the reaction that Neil does. It's, you know, like, it's just something that naturally comes. To be quiet in those circumstances takes a lot of
discipline.
Discipline, yes.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, it's hard to stay quiet sometimes when I hear someone like Rob Noxious coming in shouting something like that. But I know that latching onto it is only going to highlight it more and more. And it takes away from whatever conversation is happening at that point. So I don't do it. Even, like most of the time. I'm sure I will the odd time, because I can't say I could never, because I'm sure I will the odd time. But in general, I don't do that. And the reason I don't is for the reason I just gave. And we all know that reason, but Neil wants to latch onto it.
No, I'd like to ascribe that to. So, in previous encounters with Rob Noxious, we've made the comparison, you and I, and had a little chuckle about them putting on the furry costume of Flat Earth, trying it on for a bit, and you and I had a little snigger,
yeah.
right? Well, if you now put yourself empathically in Rob Noxious's shoes, what are we doing to him? We're holding up a massive mirror. Can I have a look? How's it look? How's it looking? And then laughing at him, and he's furious.
Yeah, see, I know one of the reasons, especially I knew it was Rob Noxious immediately because I recognised his voice. I knew when I heard him coming in saying that, I knew that you knew where that was coming from. And I'm sure you knew that I would have known. And I'm sure John, everyone else, but Neil, I don't think was spotting where that's coming from. That's coming from Rob Noxious. But when I hear that, when I hear something like that, that means they have absolutely lost. And instead of getting triggered and angry about it, even though it does annoy me, when he comes in, like saying what he said, bringing up your family and your life with them, that instantly annoys me. But what I take from that is the knowledge that he is my enemy, and that's all he's got left. That means he's lost totally. Do you know what I mean? My opponent is finished because that's all they got left. They're lying on the ground, with no arms and legs, shouting insults. Like, yeah, I'm the winner at that point.
From where
not
we're
that
standing,
it's about me or my ego. I'm just saying. Go on.
Does it not seem like that more and more? You know, you just like, back in 2015, say, you're describing the process when everyone's full of optimism and saying everyone's going to wake up to this next year or overnight. Some would be really optimistic, right? But it does have to go through a certain set of stages for mass acceptance. But even though it's in a very small corner of the internet with just us, would you not agree that we're seeing that last stage, you know, the kind of the rebellious person turning into the calm, accepting person as they try on the outfit of Flat Earth, hate the look of themselves in it and despise their own ineptitude and ability to be lied to and all the other things they rage against and start thinking about how everyone might be lying to them, and they project that out onto us with the most heinous rage they can muster. You know, all those things are sort of, to me, the end of the road when it comes to, albeit in our small arena, the people starting to accept their fate. What do you think?
I totally agree. They're in the second last stage. The last stage is acceptance. They're in the second last stage, I think, at this point. Because it's only a matter of time before the likes of Rob Noxious ends up crying with his face in his hands in his bedroom. Because that's where it gets to. You have to get to that point. Now, I mean, it's a bad situation for someone to be in, especially if you're an adult, to end up in that position. But that's what a belief can do to you. I mean, it can destroy you. Because it can give you hope or it can destroy you, one or the other. And that's what heliocentrism is doing to them. We're not destroying them, heliocentrism is destroying them. Would you agree?
Oh, you're talking about when people accept find out about the flat Earth. Man, to me, it changed it flipped my life. It flipped my life.
Go on then, give us a bit more personal.
Yeah, it can have a massive effect on someone.
Let's hear him expand on it. He's obviously, that was his opener to a bit of personal
I just
testimony.
agree.
Go on then, tell us all about it. I'm sure you want to expand on that, right?
Well, if you really want to hear the story, the whole backstory, it starts with me being a globe earther. I was passionate about space, NASA. I used to I loved NASA. I wanted to become an astronaut. I was willing to study my whole life to become an engineer, space engineer. And you see, because I loved engineering and I also loved space, this thing called space, planets, whatever, So basically, my life goes on and on and on. And I just started, I studied enough of, I was always interested into these things like space. And I had books and books, which I read a lot of times. Anyways, back forward, a few years, there comes, I was basically hanging around in a voice chat on Telegram, right? And this flat earther comes with flat earth arguments, and I'm like, no, yo, let me debate. I want to debate him. Yes, I want to destroy his argument. Because you see, I when I learned about flat earthers, I was I was mocking them. I literally used to mock flat earth. How can somebody believe in the earth to be a flat when we all know it's a globe? Those kinds of people I used to be. And anyways, so basically life goes it goes on for 3 days. I was 3 days in a debate room, properly working on debating him. And I used to relearn everything, literally take old books out. And I started to I wanted to destroy him. Day comes when we have the actual debate, and I lost. I lost, and basically, when I lost this debate, and I went after it, after a few days, I just went to another country, and I flew with an airplane. So I just checked, you see, and I was also working as a fisherman. So I made the experiment, with the radar. I couldn't see ships over the horizon, they disappeared. And I thought, okay, this is because of the curvature. I'm told that this is because of the curvature, right? So anyways, I see them on the radar and I'm like, okay, this is kind of odd because odd and not odd, but still I see them on radar. Then I take out a telescope. I took out a telescope and I looked at the ship in that direction. I found the ship. The whole ship I was able to see from the bottom to the top. And I'm like, okay, this flat earther might be right. He mentioned me this because of the flat and proved me this because of the flat earth. And I was getting really nervous because in those days I was really nervous. I was scared of being flat. I was scared that the earth could actually be flat. And I was trying to convince myself with any knowledge which I had and any knowledge which I could acquire that the earth was not flat. But when I realized it, man, it was like a brick wall. It was like a castle worth of walls falling on top of me. It was like it was the whole world falling on top of me, man. I started to doubt everything, and currently, like I just started to be like, I don't know what is real and what is not, because all I see the media, all I see like on television, it's like it's a lie. All I see on the whatever medium, whatever people tell, whatever, like, even governments tell and something like that, it's all made up lies. Like they have they lied to us once. Like the world lied to us once. Why wouldn't it lie the second, third time? And I started to doubt everything. Like I had a pretty dark phase in my life. Quite recently, I would add, where I just like don't know what is real and what is not anymore. It's just like that's what Flat Earth does to you. That's why I think most of those people, like, ignorance is bliss. But as Morpheus said, like, you take the blue pill, you wake up tomorrow and you make it whatever you want, or you take the red one and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. And I think there was a pretty cool scene which I can apply to this thing. Like, it completely changes you. I'm seeing comments mentioning me.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, yo. Well put, very honest, relate to a lot of it, but glad you're here. Yo, God bless you, brother. God bless you, brother. Thank you, man. I love you, brother. I love you all, to be honest. Love you all, brothers. Like,
thank you.
And I'm really sorry that I used to mock you guys. I used to mock you guys. I used to mock you. And like, I thought of flat earthers as those stupid people, brothers, like, you see. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for every flat earther that I mocked in my test.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it. We've got thick skins. What was that just saying about an airplane flying from one country to another? What was that? Did you check for curvature with the airplane at the time?
Oh, yo. Yeah, the thing is, I pulled out my ID card as soon as I boarded, like, when I was like basically mid-flight somewhere, like, you see, and basically, like, I pulled out my ID card and I placed it, like, aligning it like flatly on the how to say, like, the window. And like, I saw no detection. Like, I thought that, okay, the ship accident could be explained, but this thing that I can literally see no bending, nothing, like no curvature. I'm not telling you about 1 meter. Then okay, it should be too big, but I'm telling you about not even a millimeter. And like, I never felt, because I felt when we went up and when we went down, like, my stomach had that feeling. When I was on an airplane, I had no feeling of that in mid of the flight. And I was like, and I was wondering, like, how can it be this thing? Because, like, look, I'm gonna open up my camera. If you can see, hold on. No, I don't think. I can. That's me.
We
Basically,
won't be able to
like,
see it in this G plus.
that's
Only Discord could see it.
Only the yeah, man. Like, anyways, like, if we go around the globe, hold on. If we go around the globe, let's say, like, the globe has fallen. But anyway, yeah, like, if we go around the globe, one country to another, like, how can it be that the airplane only flies like this? So it should be go to space, like it should go to space, an airplane. That's why I was wondering, what the fuck? They like, how can it be? How can it be? How can it be? Then I actually got to know more flat earthers in real life, and they all explained me this very, very scientifically, better than NASA could. Better than NASA could. That's how they explain. Flat earthers. When I see back at myself, like I believed in the globe. Why? Because NASA told me. And all of those pictures that I used to so much love, they are all cartoonates. They are all fake, like graphic designs and something. Composite. Like how? Like,
well, the airplane itself, right? For an airplane to fly, it requires lift. Lift opposes weight.
Yeah.
Thrust opposes drag. So when you take off and you get to cruising altitude, at that point, if you're on a globe, then from that very moment on, that plane must just hold a horizontal at that very moment. And after that point, second by second by second after that, it has to have an accumulated below horizontal pitch. But not only would that be noticed, not only would everyone have to be consistently strapped in to their seats with seatbelts on, there'd be no cart service, there'd be no stewardesses going up and down the aisles. In reality, to generate adequate lift to overcome the weight of the plane, they must have an above horizontal pitch, and the amount of above horizontal pitch is determined by their airspeed and their altitude, whatever altitude they want to hold. But the pitch has to be above horizontal for them to fly horizontally. It means that for them to fly, they require the lift. They require the lift effect to happen. And for that to happen, it means they can only fly horizontally. Now, you can do the acrobatics with a fighter jet and stuff like that. But if you're talking about flying any distance from point A to point B, then you have to fly in a horizontal line. So it's impossible for airplanes to work over a curved surface, a consistently curved surface of a globe, because they won't have any lift. What will happen is not only would you have a constantly dip below horizontal pitch accumulation, not only would that happen and you'd never be able to leave your seat, you'd have to be sitting in it with your seatbelt on all the time. But the plane won't be able to fly.
Yeah, exactly.
It would lose lift. Eventually, you crash into the ground.
Yeah.
The lift would eventually wouldn't have enough lift to keep itself in the air, and it would crash.
Yeah, and funnily enough, when I was a kid, I designed a rocket with according to this, this basically policy. Basically, I designed a rocket. I wanted to give it to NASA, and I made a project. It was just the start, like my concept, the concept of it, like of an airplane, basically a fueled powered, jet powered airplane, which could lead people to space. It would be much more practical than have, let's say, a rocket and having it to rebuild using millions of dollars a year. An airplane, like a plane, a strong plane, like a shuttle, basically, which had to be landed, and basically, you see, like, it's just shot into it just like it takes off like an airplane, and basically like it just shoots itself into space. And I thought, why don't they do this? Like, and then when ironically when I realized it with flat earth, I was like, I was wasting my time. I was wasting my time when I was a kid. But look, that's like, man, it hurt me to realize it. It hurt me that like this globe was sorry man.
No, I just going to say to you, John, I'll just say something quick, John, if you come in there. I don't understand. When I say I don't understand, I try to empathize with people in your position who really loved NASA and all the other things, and so to step away from that or to accept that that's not true must be very, very difficult.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah,
I
man.
didn't have any of that. I was very lucky. I had none of that. When it got to that point, when I found out in 2015 it was flat, within 10 seconds is all it took me. Due to previous experiences in my life, within 10 seconds, it was 8 seconds actually, I knew it was flat and I started laughing. I laughed out loud because so many things that didn't make sense to me that I didn't understand why they didn't make sense suddenly made sense. It all made sense all of a sudden within 8 seconds. So for me, I laughed out loud and I didn't have that same holding on to, or I didn't have the same interest in NASA and all that. I had no interest or trust in NASA before that point. I'd lost trust in NASA, pseudoscience, all these things. I'd lost all trust in all them years beforehand, the media. So when it got to that point, I was very lucky. I didn't have all those things still holding me back or whatever. But for someone who's had those things and was very invested in NASA and things like that and space stuff, when it gets to that point, it must be much, much more difficult to let go.
Yeah.
It must be. Because for me, it was a happy moment. But and Nathan says something similar himself. But for other people, it can be a very unhappy moment. Thank you for listening.
It made me It made me physically sick.
Yeah, you said that, John.
Yeah, I understand the pain part of it because it was something that you had put so much time into thinking about, you know, the future, interstellar travel, you know, there was all these things and yeah, they just took it away.
To me, it was more like not a confirmation, but like everything that I was wondering, like the things that didn't make sense. It was like a moment for me for like, aha, now,
Yeah,
okay,
like me.
yep. It was like, aha, all right, I'm not crazy.
There's one thing I will say. I don't care how big of a troll someone is or how bad they get. As soon as any baller genuinely switches over, genuinely, as far as I'm concerned, it's all water underneath the bridge. I normally never like that. Normally I hold things against people who do me wrong. But when it comes to this, well, I just don't. Matter who, I don't care who it is, if Brenda, anyone, not that I take Brenda too serious, but if Brenda, anyone, real, if anyone, if any of them, even Mac Toon, if he became a flat earther tomorrow, even though I don't like Mac Toon, if he became a flat earther tomorrow, I'd let go all these tactics and these nonsense. Craig, anyone, just, yeah, that's fine, it's done. You know what I mean? Because it was all coming from, I have to start with a fresh slate with that person then, because that was all coming from a position of not wanting to let go, not wanting to accept. And, you know, I can't hold that against someone.
May I ask the gentleman if he was a Star Wars guy or a Trekkie?
I don't know if he knows you're talking to him, John.
Was that question addressed to me?
No, it was to the gentleman who was talking about how it made him feel sick and it hurt him. I was asking if he was a Star Wars fan or a Trekkie.
It hurt, man. Really hurt. It really hurt. It ripped me apart, man. A part of me died.
Yep. Yep. I can empathize.
It's going to sound really bad me saying this, but it was the opposite for me. A part of me came alive. The complete opposite. I had the complete opposite experience from this gentleman. It was like I suddenly was alive.
Pretty much my exact sentiments.
Yeah, that's why it's so easy for maybe us to switch Do you know what I mean? Because of that experience being a totally positive one, as opposed to having it was one of the absolute, if not one of two greatest moments in my life. It was absolutely awesome. I'll never forget it. I smile every time I think about it. Whereas for someone else, it gives them a sick stomach, like John says, because it's a bad memory of something.
Oh, yeah. You spend so much time arguing against something, you don't want to admit you're wrong. Plus all the other implications of admitting you're wrong, what you'll have to think about now. None of that's easy.
Although I've always enjoyed, the sci-fi movies and everything, I took that word literally, sci-fi. I mean, to me, that was science fiction. So to me, they were telling me in so many ways, I don't know how analytical I was as a young person, but I took things literally and I looked at it like, okay, sci-fi, that means this is not real. It's what could be. It's a fantasy. So it wasn't in my reality. So it was like one of those what if movies or what if things. And I never really was a fan of NASA. I didn't even really know anything much about NASA. Matter of fact, I used to get NASA in Nassau County and the SSAU mixed up. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was never no concern. So I guess I wasn't really drenched with the nonsensical stuff. But I knew that there was
There's a difference between what if and nonsensical.
True.
What if is a possibility. When it is no longer a possibility, it is nonsensical.
Right.
So
well, it
when
became
it goes from
nonsensical.
what if, yeah. So that when you have so much love for the what if,
Yeah.
it's hard to let go when it becomes nonsense.
I get you. Yeah, I agree. And that was the whole thing. I didn't have that much passion for the what ifs. It was just a part of conversation, especially if I was smoking a joint with my dad or my brothers. I'd be like, what if, what if we were all stars? All kinds of things. It's kind of great things to think about. But it wasn't like I was, standing on it. Like I said, since before I was 8 years old, my father told me the lunar landing was fake. He didn't break it down to why it was fake or, because the earth is flat, nothing like that. He just told me that it wasn't real. So he was already on his game back in 1974, 75, knowing what's up with that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I always had that speculative thought about it. And then thanks to coming here, I got the affirmation that it's nonsensical based on facts. Prior to being with FED, it was affirmation based on speculative rumor what ifs, ice wall, vortex, all these type of different things that we know that the Feast of Nonsense talks about. But still, I don't regret that because, like I said yesterday, it brought me closer to the truth. And by just looking further for the truth, I landed here, and now I got things that I can throw up that I've learned from you guys that makes people just be like, well, it's not really important. Does it really matter? Who cares? Does it pay my bills? They got to give up on it. They concede with arrogance, because they can't dispute or refute what I'm saying to them. That makes their belief nonsensical.
Right. On that note, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you again to Politics, although we're in our own server now, and my G Plus panel for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.